Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 125 of the ItsObviousGaming podcast. I'm your host, Preston Pugh, and I'm joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
Garrett Drake is not here. This is Batman. I'm filling in for Garrett Drake today. He could not be here. He and I are close associates, but it is good to be here talking with you both about video games at the crack of dawn. How are you, Jacob?
Hey, the Batman never sleeps, right? So here he is.
He sleeps during the day. I sleep during the day. See, I fight crime at all hours of the evening.
Gotcha.
Because I am a night dweller. Actually, in fact, while we're on the topic, I am the night. So, I mean, I am the Dark Knight, but I am also literally the night. Let's get that clear.
Okay.
It's good to see you both today, though.
It's good to see you.
This is my mask. I mean, I was Batman for Halloween last year. Happy Halloween, by the way, to all of you around the globe. But I've changed my mask to a more minimal hard-cased design.
Yeah, Batman, I wish you were wearing your cowl.
Yeah, the cowl's a bit grueling when you have it on. You sweat profusely, and it's some sort of weird rubber, and it's very irritating on the skin.
That's part of the job, though, right?
So now I have a hard-cased flat shell here on my face. It crushes my nose, but, you know, it gets the job done. So I hope everyone approves of my new look.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. Jacob, who are you going as?
Falcons fan that's sad inside.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm a banana.
Yeah, Preston is a banana. An exclusive banana, one of 75 bananas around the world.
Sure.
Wow. You should have worn like a banana suit.
Banana suit?
Yeah.
Because I have one. You should have worn it.
You don't have a banana suit.
No.
I wish you did, though. That'd be a good costume.
That would be a good costume.
There's always that one guy at a Halloween party that has like a weird banana costume on.
I haven't dressed up for Halloween since like middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I have either. The most I've done is put on a suit and wear a Deadpool mask with it. Because Zach was Spider-Man with a suit on. He's like, why don't you put on this Deadpool mask? I was like, all right, that works. I think that was a few years ago.
That's cool.
So I've been busy on Halloween all the other years past. I will be busy again this year.
Yeah, Halloween just blows when it's on a weekday.
Yeah, it does,
I mean,
man.
Based on pictures I saw on Twitter, it seems like everybody was doing their Halloween party yesterday, which was Saturday. So, including myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was sad I couldn't be there.
Yeah, that sucks. We always have our yearly celebration of my... This is so weird to look... I don't know if I'm looking at your eyes or not.
I can't even tell if I'm speaking into the microphone perfectly.
No, you're good.
Okay.
We always have our yearly Halloween / Georgia-Florida game / my father's birthday celebration. And you weren't there this year.
No, I was not.
Very sad.
Yeah, I have had... not necessarily stressful. I'm pretty good at dealing with stress, but as far as being busy, this has probably been the busiest weekend of my entire life to date. So I'll bring you guys up to speed here. The reason Ask IOG did not occur, I doubt anyone actually even realized it didn't happen. But if anyone was actually counting on that, I apologize once again. This is probably marked the 4th or 5th week in a row where like Ask IOG's coming and it doesn't happen.
We can't promise that show anymore.
We cannot. Yeah. I was called into work Thursday through today, which is Sunday, to work at the bar. I've been working at Smith's old bar in Atlanta, running sound. And during the days, I have been going to study sessions at school for a very intense editing exam I have to take. It's actually for Avid. You know, I was certified in Avid Pro Tools. Now I'm going to be certified in Media Composer, which is the industry standard feature film editing software. And it's basically described as the bar exam for editing, and it is super brutal. Not really understanding how to work around the software, but remembering every single solitary thing there is to do and how many keyboard shortcuts there are, because I now have crammed into my brain 3 or 4 different softwares shortcuts on the keyboard, and all of them, of course, are completely different from one another. I mean, Final Cuts are different from Premieres are different from Pro Tools is different from Media Composer. You'd think Media Composer and Pro Tools kind of be like one and the same because it's the same company, but they're entirely different. So when I go into this exam, I have to just pretend I've never used another software before and just eliminate every other shortcut from my brain to take this test, because I will easily get one of 4 software shortcuts mixed up in my head. So I'm trying to learn that stuff and learn how to use the software. And I've just been going to study sessions because my teacher says because Pro Tools, I think you get like 8 tries or something ridiculous like that to certify. So only an idiot couldn't get certified in Pro Tools. You have so many chances. But with Media Composer, you only have 2 chances. And if you don't certify by the second test, you have to pay over $3,000 to take it again.
Holy crap.
That's how serious it is if you get certified in Media Composer. So my teacher's been like grilling us for weeks to prepare us for the exam. And obviously I want to pass that because that's huge to be certified in that software. Not that I want to edit feature films, but to at least have that skill set and that understanding of it is important to me. So, and it's actually the first thing I've actually learned at film school so far. I mean, I guess the first several quarters are very generic stuff like film history and how to work a camera and what's color balance and like very generic stuff like that. But as far as learning something new, this editing software has been a whole new world to me. So I want to pass. So in the daytimes I've been going to study sessions. In the evenings I've been running sound till literally 3 a.m. Last night I would have gotten off at midnight because the band that played was just like a generic jam band, and there wasn't quite a very big crowd because it was like rainy and cold and it was a Halloween weekend, so not many people showed up. So I would have gotten off earlier than I ever have at this venue, but it just so happens one of the sound guys pissed off this person who runs a comedy show every weekend at 1 a.m. in this bar in like the basement in this like secondary room. And apparently he pissed off the host of this person, and she never wanted to have that sound guy ever in that room again when she did her comedy thing. And apparently the bar really respects her of that because she brings in so many people consistently every weekend for this comedy thing they do. It's all stand-up comedy. So my boss came up to me last night and he's like, hey, do you mind doing the 1 a.m. comedy show? I was like, oh, F me. And I couldn't say no because I'm like kind of new there and I want to establish myself as someone they can like rely on so I get booked more. It's like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. So I had to stay like an extra 2.5 hours till 3. I was there till 3 running sound for the comedy show. And I'll say, I mean, there's a couple funny people there that I was like, it wasn't totally boring, but I was there till 3, and then I had to go back to my girlfriend's place to get my stuff. And I got in my bed at 4:30. I woke up at 6:30 to go to Dunkin' Donuts, and then I met you guys at the pool.
So you took a small little nap.
Yeah, I took a cat nap for like 1.5 hours, 2 hours.
That's horrible.
And it's so funny to think like 5 hours ago I was at the comedy thing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're all here together this morning. This is the earliest podcast we've ever done in the history of this YouTube channel. It is currently 8:22 in the morning on a Sunday. But we have our coffee. You have the, what'd you have? The French something? French vanilla?
Just a French vanilla.
Iced coffee. You have the mocha swirl, is that right, Jacob?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a dark roast black coffee with 2 turbo shots like I discussed on a recent podcast. But this is depressing about Dunkin' Donuts. I've realized over the last year why Starbucks is so successful as they are is because they are always consistent with everything they do, whether it be their food, especially their coffee. I know every time I get a cup of Starbucks coffee, it's going to be scorching hot and it's going to taste exactly the same. This is the second time in the matter of a couple weeks now that Dunkin' Donuts has given me room temperature coffee.
Really?
I'm talking like lukewarm. It's like, you know, if you've ever had lukewarm coffee in any coffee drinkers, you know how gross that is. But also it's like drinking lukewarm beer, like room temperature beer. It's absolutely repulsive. And I don't know what on earth the deal is. Like 2 weeks in a row, man. I'm talking like I could pour this on my head and take a shower in it. That's how room temperature it is.
Are you going to the same Dunkin' Donuts?
I am. It's the same Dunkin' Donuts, yeah.
Maybe just avoid that
the one.
I know it's the closest one.
Brownsbridge?
Yes. Now, I will say their food is very good still. I mean, Dunkin' Donuts is more than just their coffee, of course. But
see, Preston, when we went to go get donuts that one time when I was at your place, I wasn't impressed with the donuts. Maybe it's because they had been sitting for a while. I'm not entirely sure. But
I don't know. It was pretty late that night. So I'm sure they'd sit out for a while. That's
what bums me out, dude, is because every other coffee place, I'm like, you know, I'm going to give this local place a chance. This local place over in Atlanta near where Casey lives. It's more convenient on the way to school to stop at said local place. So I stopped there a few times, and their coffee tastes like they were establishing this business, and they're like, all right, so how are we going to make the coffee? And some guy like went out behind the building and was like, well, there's a rusty metal pole there. What if we take that pole and melt it into a liquid and color it like coffee and serve that to customers? We're like, well, we don't have any coffee beans, so that'll have to do. It tastes like rusty metal in a coffee cup, but like several times I've had it, so I had to give up on that. But every time I go to the Starbucks, man, it's fantastic. I know that's so generic, like Starbucks. I've had very good local coffee in the past, and when we were traveling together with Ryan, he would always take us some pretty good coffee shops. But Starbucks, man, is the only one that does it consistently. I'm enjoying my lukewarm coffee this morning, but it's keeping me awake.
Excellent.
So it's been a brutal weekend. I have to go straight to school for another study session after this, but I'm glad we could do this, and thank you guys for being here.
When's your test?
It is, part 1 is on Wednesday. I have to beat that part, and then we have to blow through another book, and I do part 2 at the end of the quarter in a couple weeks. So I was going to say, we're going to talk about all the awesome games that came out this weekend, but we will not have, at least unless you guys stream, I won't be able to crank out any content towards the end of the week because I've got to study like I've never studied before these first few days till Wednesday. So I'll be just hands on deck for that. So no videos from me, unfortunately, but yeah, everything's fine.
I'll stream something this week.
You as in Batman or Garrett?
I'm speaking on behalf of Garrett right now.
Oh, okay.
He and I consulted last night in the evening. So
okay.
I've been talking like I was Garrett the whole time. I did not mean to do that.
Okay, so I understand.
I was fighting crime. Garrett was doing all those other things.
Oh, okay. I got you. Great. How was your week up until your busy Thursday plus?
It was fine, I think. I actually managed to get a code for Assassin's Creed. That's wonderful. We'll talk about that soon.
Early, you did?
Yes, only a day early.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was the only exciting portion of my week other than playing all these fun games this weekend. So everything else has been pretty normal. How about you, Jacob?
Well, Friday night was kind of when I celebrated Halloween, so I dressed up as Clark Kent. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a pretty swell guy.
Normal journalist.
I know that stupid journalist always talking shit about me in his articles.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of Batman.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break his legs if I find him in an alleyway. The Batman this, the Batman that. He's a vigilante. He hates the city. He kills people. I mean, what an asshole.
I know. If I run into him, I'll warn him. Okay.
Thank you. He's a stupid idiot in his dumb glasses. Now, Superman, that's a guy I can get on board with. But this really? Clark Kent character, man, I might actually shoot him with my Batmobile.
Yeah, he really likes Superman. He writes well about him, so, yeah, we'll see.
Do you think Clark Kent is Superman?
No.
Do you think Superman has an alter ego?
No.
The odds.
Not a chance. I mean, Clark Kent looks like a total dweeb. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's not get carried away.
We digress.
But yeah, that was probably the most exciting thing about my week. I had probably a little too many drinks that night. Then I woke up not feeling too great. But,
I woke up to you in bed with me, literally. Because I got off work
at Casey's.
I got off work at 1 or 2, and I was so tired that I just walked into Casey's apartment, grabbed her dog, and threw it in bed with me, and I just went to bed immediately. And I wake up to Jacob basically spooning me. He's like, how you doing, man? And I was like, hey. And you're like, guess what I am? And I looked over and you're like some sort of overalls and a suit or something. Or
it's not wearing overalls.
Do you have suspenders on?
Yeah.
Okay, suspenders and a suit.
Yeah.
I don't know where I think I was so tired. I was like, are you Mario? And you're like, yeah. It's like, oh, cool. So that was exciting. I mean, I'm totally fine waking up with you straddling me like you were, but...
Sorry to wake you, but...
No, it's fine. I mean, if anyone's going to wake me, I'm fine with it being you dressed as what I thought was Mario. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So...
Yeah, I think I pulled off the costume really well. I was happy about it. I didn't really get a great picture, which really sucks.
Did you have, the symbol showing through a little bit?
Yeah, I wore a Superman shirt that had a white...
Dude, it's so funny you say that. On. I saw a picture of 4 other dudes in a picture together that did that exact same costume.
Yeah.
I guess that's a really popular...
so you're unoriginal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just something last minute I put together, but I thought it turned out really well.
Obviously.
And I bought these really nice navy blue pants. They're really nice pants. And now I have those pants forever.
That's nice. Where'd you get them? Let me guess. American Eagle.
No.
Okay, PacSun.
No.
Tilly's.
J. Crew.
Somewhere very generic.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Target. Walmart?
Less generic than that.
Kmart.
Oh, dude, I have to guess this.
It's a popular... store.
Zoomies?
It's like a local store.
A local store. Plato's Closet.
I take that back. It's not it's local and it's around a lot of different places. It's like a huge brand.
Kohl's.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kohl's is a great store.
Yeah.
I get a lot of good stuff.
You can find pretty much anything you want in there.
Yeah.
Anything.
Dude, Target, I suggest you go to Target. This black zip-up jacket I have on came from Target, and they have a new brand called Goodfellas. Awesome stuff if you go to Target.
Movie,
Goodfellas. After the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, definitely. What was I going to say? Speaking of you being intoxicated, when we saw Blade Runner, you were intoxicated big time.
Was I?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that, but you were so loud when we saw the movie.
Loud?
Yeah, we'd be watching the movie and Jake would be like, Where are they again?
I think I was speaking that loud.
Yeah, you're pretty loud. Now the movie's very loud, so no one could tell. But with you being right next to me, it was like a megaphone practically.
Wow.
I guess I was just trying to speak up.
Were you having a few drinks at the theater?
He had drinks. You told me you had 5 glasses of whiskey or something before you got to the theater, and then I thought, how on earth did you get here in one piece?
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it had been a couple hours since I started drinking.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay.
But we played Cards Against Humanity that night, which was fun.
Nice.
Played with a bunch of my coworkers. But
was Blade Runner good?
It was very good.
I was just listening to a podcast on the way over here where all 3 of them were saying it was overhyped and boring.
Okay, I get that completely.
It's very hard to follow.
I mean, a lot of people. I feel like that way about the first movie. I don't think it's overhyped and boring, but I can see easily why people would be like, this movie is slow and boring.
It's definitely not like other movies.
It is very much about the characters, and the world is the most entertaining part. That's why I was okay with the movie being as long as it is, because you get to live in that world for 3 hours. It's very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool, like being in the theater and hearing like all the overpowering music just in the world.
Just Hans Zimmer, wow, and it sounds like a truck driving by half the movie. I love the soundtrack, but it does sound like a truck.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
I'd be shocked if that movie didn't win some awards or something.
Visual effects, I could see it winning, because it is easily one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it'll win any acting awards, but visual effects, maybe original screenplay, maybe. But I think that'd probably be about it.
Yeah. Is it really that original though? Because there's a movie prior to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a standalone movie, though. I think it can still win for original screenplay. Because I thought the story was excellent. I loved it. And especially after further analysis and seeing it a second time, I like it even more than I did the first time. So, yeah.
Jacob. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm tired.
I'm tired, too. These turbo shots, though, I'm like a Super Saiyan at the moment.
How are you feeling on D2 PC?
D2 PC is really beautiful, I gotta say. I love the field of view that I now have playing Destiny. It's very nice.
What are you on?
I set it to as high as I could go, which is like 104,
105?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't do that?
I'm on like 95.
Okay.
I upped it like by 20.
Gotcha.
Bring me up to speed here. Field of view is not the same as draw distance, correct? Or is it?
Field of view just like
how wide it looks?
Yeah,
okay, that's what I thought. I was just making sure I had that correct.
Yeah, but speaking about the field of view, I played on my PC, then I went back to the PS4 to see how much different it was, and it's like shocking how much less you can see.
Yeah. And just how tight PS4 feels compared to the PC.
It's so stiff.
Mud.
I mean, I feel like a worm when I played Destiny 2 on PC. Like, I could just slither all over the place.
And then it's just weird. Good. You play it for an hour, and then it's fine.
Yeah. Once you get used to it, it's like, oh, it's Destiny.
Yeah. I know we'll talk about Assassin's Creed later, but I've been playing that on my PC, and I have it locked at 60, and I just wanted to see what it felt like in 30, and it was like unplayable. I cannot imagine playing it, but I played it for like 10 minutes, and I just got accustomed to it, and then it was like fine again. So
what you're saying is you're now a member of the faith?
You could say that.
You have faith in the Church of Unlimited Frames.
Yeah.
You've converted.
It's just shocking how when you're playing a game and you just switch from 60 to 30, just how drastic it is.
Yeah.
But when you just like jump into a game that's 30, you just don't even think of it. I don't know, it's really weird. But
so are you playing D2 uncapped, or you have it like the VSync set?
I have 60? It at VSync on 60 because my monitor's 60 hertz.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about getting
you ought to
bigger, but I mean they don't make 4K monitors that are higher than 60 hertz right now, which is the main reason I got the monitor was for 4K. But I was thinking about getting my same type of monitor with a lower resolution, but with a higher refresh rate just to play first-person shooters. Mm-hmm. But I'm not insanely competitive, and it looks fine.
Yeah.
I haven't one time thought, man, this refresh rate at 60 just sucks, dude. Not even close to thinking that, so I think I'm good.
Okay.
So
you're enjoying D2, I assume?
Yeah.
It's the same game.
It's the same game, and I pretty much bought it just because I knew I was inevitably going to have to get it. So I didn't have a ton of time this week up until Friday to really dive into anything due to work and chores and stuff around the house. So I'm level 10 and I just got the mission unlocked to go to IO.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where I am.
I would say the first couple days I really grinded it out and got to 20, but I'm just back in that same lull where it's just like I'm just gonna do the same shit every week, like not really earning anything. I mean, I gotta earn all the weapons again, whatnot, but it's just.
Have you read Destiny's statements about the list of things they're going to bring to the game as far as updates?
The weekly update, I thought, that's a lot of exciting things. Yeah, but there's still no competitive PvP. Which is like, that's the reason why I play Overwatch. So.
It is so strange that the more time I've spent with Destiny and really reflecting on how different it is from Destiny 1 as far as like things it's lacking, I'm like, what happened?
It's kind of shocking how much like quality of life things are just gone.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's a great game. I like it a lot, but it's weird to think like, how could you not take Destiny 1 and just build upon that instead of removing so many things that actually were good about Destiny 1? It's strange. It isn't. I don't think it makes that a bad game.
And they took the private matches out of the game, and now it's not in D2. Like, what were they thinking?
I don't know. It's the most bizarre thing.
I didn't even know there were private matches in the first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was put in pretty late in its lifetime, so.
Okay.
But D2 PC it looks really nice, but it's still Destiny 2. So. Hopefully in this next expansion we get some significant changes.
That's probably when I'll really, really jump into it, is when the next expansion releases.
Yeah.
Because there's so much crap out now. Just so much stuff. Yeah. No time for Destiny 2.
It's the first time in a while where I feel antsy when I'm not playing one of the 3 games that came out this weekend. I'm like, I'm missing out on so much.
And then we just discover that Call of Duty's coming out at the end of this week.
I know. We were talking about Call of Duty for like 5 seconds before the episode started, and we were like, holy crap, that's this weekend already.
And then isn't Battlefront 2 next week?
It's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the
11th or 14th or something.
Yeah.
So,
still. Goodness. Is there anything else coming up this month?
I think there is, but nothing like to that scale. Okay. So I think there's a couple things in December as well.
At least
Xenoblade's December 1st.
Which I'm definitely hyped for, but that might be something I get later on down the line since there's so much stuff out right now. So at least the remainder of the year, you can kind of just knock out what we have now.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, I played a little bit of D2. So anything else you play?
Oh, I played Super Mario Odyssey, Mr. Preston.
Yeah.
And it's a great game.
Just okay?
Don't toot its horn, Jacob. We all know it's mediocre.
Oh, don't say that. It's such a good game.
Every reviewer was paid off.
Yeah, they were.
To give it such a good score.
Very good reviews, obviously. Super Mario Odyssey is...
You got that one reviewer that's trying to make a name for himself. So
by just giving it a crap
7
score.
out of 10 for people to click on his website.
This is outrageous. But this is, believe it or not, the first 3D Mario I've ever played.
Damn, son.
Yeah, I've really been missing out.
How'd you do that? How'd you go through life and not
I've never
do that?
I haven't owned a Nintendo console since, well, I had the Wii, but I didn't really play
Galaxy
Nintendo games. No.
Galaxy was phenomenal.
I owned a 64. I never played Mario 64. So
yeah, last 3D I played was Sunshine. I never got around to Galaxy. I've seen a lot of Galaxy. I just never played it myself.
Galaxy is so freaking good.
I'd love to play them on the Virtual Console if that ever came out, But Nintendo's focused on other things, obviously.
Other great things.
Yeah.
They're focused on perfect scores right now.
Yeah. Obviously. It's kind of like amazing how well like both Zelda and Mario did this year. And they're both like perfect 10s.
But will we look back in 10 years' time and think we were all just hyped? Those games suck ass.
Hey, maybe.
It is crazy though, in a year, a brand new Zelda and a brand new 3D Mario game are just released in the same year. But
and an awesome new console.
Both are outstanding. Could be argued being the best in the series.
Yeah, it's like how do you follow this up next year, Nintendo?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's
maybe
like,
if Metroid
Yoshi
came out next year or something.
That or
I've heard that and like Pokemon are probably like 19.
If they just out of nowhere dropped Virtual Console for something, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, they got to do something. I'm really interested to see just how well Switch is sold. Just during this season we're in right now.
Dude, I was telling Jacob
to see like how they're like the stocks of Switch are this holiday.
Can you imagine being a child who wakes up on Christmas morning to a Nintendo Switch, Zelda, and Mario? I would lose my mind, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm losing my mind just being able to pay for it myself.
I want to go
waking up on Christmas morning to that.
I want to go adopt a kid.
I know. That's what I was telling Jacob. I can't imagine the joy a child would feel in that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I'm almost envious of those children that are going to wake up this year on Christmas morning too. There's at least a couple kids that'll wake up to that exact Christmas.
And then just have a break and no school for a good week or two just to play them.
And then Dad throws in a bonus gift. He's like, "Look, son, I got you this thing called the SENS Classic," and he like turns it on and it looks like shit.
This looks like shit.
What's this shit, Daddy? So we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking about the Switch, I think it's one of like the coolest pieces of technology that's come out in the last several years.
What about the iPhone X, dude?
That is also cool.
I'm going to be honest. I would love that phone.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah. Especially the camera. The camera is what I'm most in love with. That's what always sells me on a new iPhone. I love the cameras. So
all you gotta do is pay $1,000.
Yeah. Small fortune.
I'm on this like lease program where I'm supposed to get the new iPhone every year, but I haven't like gone in and done it yet.
See, I'm in that same boat, but I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works either.
Do you just go in there and be like, "I want my new phone"?
Yeah,
like, all right.
And can I get the 8 or the X?
That's what I think.
I guess you can. You should be able to get the X.
Is the price always the same?
No, it depends on what you get. I'm sure the price is probably higher monthly for the.
No doubt.
For the X for sure. So,
Super Mario Odyssey. I've been playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have also been playing that game.
I played a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Okay.
Of it.
So I assume you both have been through the first kingdom, which is what
I've probably played about 3.5 hours total.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, I spent a decent amount of time in Cascade Kingdom looking for as many moons as possible. And I went to the menu to see how many there were. And I was like,
so many.
How are there like 20 more? I've ran around this entire thing and haven't seen anything.
The second kingdom, it's not really a spoiler. It was in all the preview events. The Sand Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I've spent at least 2.5 hours.
That's where I've spent most of my time too.
Yeah.
I love that world, and that's what's amazing. That I have so many more to go to, but I'm like just totally enthralled with Sand Kingdom right now.
I know.
So it's so cool. Like so many, like they weren't kidding. Like reviews said, they're like, there's something to discover around every corner. It's like Zelda. There literally is something to discover around every corner.
It's like a perfect game for me because I typically play all single player games, kind of like how I'm playing Mario, in that I'm literally looking around every corner and exploring every little bit of the map. Like in most games, like a single player narrative experience, I'm just wasting time really because there's no real secrets in most games. But excuse me, Mario. One of the cooler things about the game is all the movement, like, and how seamless it is just to get around and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, using the roll to, move
I love the roll move
and throwing your hat and then running to it and jumping off of it. Yeah, it's really cool. And you know what? I wasn't really expecting just all the little tiny quirks that this game has. And it was a nice surprise.
Even Mario, his animations blow my mind. I mean, he has a facial reaction to everything. Have you ever run into a cactus before?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like the prickles in his nose and everything.
Or if you like roll into it, always like, oh!
Yeah.
Falls down.
Yeah, I've taken 1,000 pictures of Mario just because of the funny faces. Like when you ride a Jaxie, for example, in Sand Kingdom, have you seen his face doing that?
Have you done the little temple with the Jaxie?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
That was a little challenging for me because the camera was like all wonky.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but
I didn't realize you could hold the brakes and you would just go slower. I thought you could only press it.
Oh, okay.
So I was like falling off the ledge several times.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
But really enjoying the game so far. I don't want to, obviously say too much, but because everyone else and their mother is playing this game too.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite aspects is I saw Kyle was mentioning this on Discord as well. The maps of each world have like facts about it, like little history portions.
Like
it's like a brochure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's cool. It's just so happy.
It is. I feel I'm at the very least smirking every time I'm playing Mario. It's so joyful. The music
said to him, it feels like he's at a theme park when he plays it. Yeah, just all the music going around. I don't know. It's just very. It's a smiley game.
I will say, I mean, I've enjoyed a good portion of the game with full audio and everything. I've yet to play it on a big screen. I mean, I played it on a bigger screen at PAX, but the whole time I've had the actual game, I've been playing on handheld because I've been gone the entire time. But I've had to play mostly with no sound while some jam band plays Led Zeppelin songs like right in front of my face while I'm playing Mario. And so that's been my soundtrack, like old men singing Zeppelin songs while I play Mario. So
Nice.
That's still been a great experience. So that's when you know it's a great game. I don't even need audio to have the same amazing experience.
Yeah.
So I know it's early, but how do you guys feel about Cappy? You like him as
I think he's great.
As a hat?
I love him.
He's cool.
Yeah.
He's a good hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any transformations that you've enjoyed more than others?
I've become a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And
T-Rex is cool.
The chain chomps.
Yeah.
And
you like launch them into stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the frog that you have to be. I haven't turned into a lot of. I actually keep forgetting that I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What are the tiki men called on Sand Kingdom? They have like the earrings or like those statues with
like
their faces.
Skeletal masks?
No, what are those statues called that look like a giant egg-shaped head with a face on it?
I think it's a lynx.
Oh, like the Easter Island?
Sphinx.
The Easter Island things,
yeah.
but they have a face on them. You can turn into those guys, and the way they wobble around, they have sunglasses on at Sand Kingdom. You can like see invisible walls and everything.
Am I missing
bridges.
something, or they just walk really slow with the glasses on?
They kind of wobble like penguins with the glasses on.
Is that part where you just have to walk to get that moon? It's so slow. It drove me crazy.
They can dash.
They can dash.
Yeah, if
How
you
do
hold
dash?
down, I think it's hold down. I always forget the buttons on Switch. I think it's X.
So I was trying every button and nothing happened.
In PlayStation, what would the button be?
Square.
Then it's Y.
Okay, so I get them all mixed up. So if you hold Y, you can dash forward, and they're very quick.
Oh, X?
Yeah.
Oh, B.
Well, X.
My bad.
Here's the thing: X and
you were
Y
talking
do the
about
same
X
thing.
Yeah.
Like both A and B and X and Y do the same.
Yeah, they do the
function.
same thing. Yeah, but they can dash, and obviously you throw on your sunglasses. I like transforming into them. Have you guys transformed into the coin purse?
Coin purse.
I haven't figured out what the function of that is, because when you possess a coin purse, you get like 100 coins, but then you can shoot them at things. But I was in a dungeon that I'd already completed, and I was shooting coins at these enemies. And I didn't understand what was happening, so I just left.
Okay.
I'm sure there's something to do in there, but
have you become like the little flying dude? There's like a little flying.
Oh, the little lizard bird. Yeah. When I discovered that thing, I was like, "What the hell is this?" But it was so funny. And you can glide. I love that thing.
Oh wow.
He's essential for getting a couple moons on the map.
Yeah, I love whenever there's a hole. Like a random home, like I can definitely jump into that. And these two guys, like those little sombrero men at Sand Kingdom, were looking at a hole like, I could never jump into that hole. I was like, sup, and just like jump right over him into the hole as soon as I see him say that. So it's great.
So I've heard this is one of the minor complaints, is that the game's kind of easy, and that's it's true with the boss fights, especially because I don't think I've died once to a boss fight. They're so simple.
Yeah.
All I do is dodge attacks. And
you can tell
it's
also catered for children as well, because every conversation has like the icons for like each character, so you don't get confused, which I even appreciate. But I imagine for a little kid, you could get the names confused pretty quickly. So like, here's this weird couple. It always shows like Bowser and Peach. So that's a nice feature.
Yeah.
Are you playing in assist mode?
I have no idea. Is that what that is?
Are you playing in assist mode? Oh, okay.
Does it give you that option at the beginning?
Yeah. Or you can select it in the options.
I don't know what assist does.
It's just like super easy mode where it like tells you where to go. There's arrows on the ground.
Oh, no, I don't have that on. No.
Okay. I'm saying if the game ever gets too hard, you can turn that on.
Yeah, there you
go. Something else I like about it. I mean, I love the outfits. We actually have a community question from Kyle we'll get to in a second, but I'm rocking the cowboy outfit at the moment. I know you are too, Jacob.
Still classic Mario.
Yeah. I love classic Mario.
I don't even have enough coins to buy anything yet.
Yeah. I love how each world has its own currency in addition to your normal currency, because that gives me an incentive to like not feel like I want to save my money for something later. Whenever you collect the currency of each world, you can spend it on items that are only available in that world, which I appreciate. And it's just something else to collect around the world, which is enjoyable.
Absolutely.
It's funny how I know in the end game I'll have more of an incentive to go back and collect everything, but it's hard for me even when I know I can come back to like want to leave. I'm determined to find all the moons. I think I've found close to 30 or 40 already alone in Sand Kingdom.
Yeah, I found a ton.
So it's been awesome. Yeah. I cannot wait to continue, especially on the big screen, which I will not play until probably Tuesday. Unfortunately, I got to go right back to Atlanta after this. So, oh well. Great game.
Sorry.
You guys have anything else to add before I get to the community question here?
No, I think we've pretty much
I can't really add anything. I haven't played enough.
Kyle says, Bohongeles, why hello, you glorious bastards. With Mario finally here and hoping you all got some time to try it, what's your favorite attire so far for the parkour plumber? And leave his nipples out of this.
Well, I only have 3 so far, so cowboy outfit.
I saw a screenshot of Mario wearing a white wedding suit with
like a Bowser
shell in the back, and that looked really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've heard if you scan the Peach wedding, like in her wedding dress amiibo, you get that wedding dress to wear as Mario.
I've seen a screenshot of that too.
It looks ridiculous.
In this moment, the cowboy outfit is my favorite because I bought it and I was very proud of it. I think Mario looks great in it.
Do you have the sombrero?
I don't. I'm saving up for that. I'll get that next.
You need it to
get in somewhere, right? Yeah.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It's worth getting it too. It's nice and cheerful.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
As of right now, that's my favorite.
Okay.
So you can't beat classic Mario either, but I know you can get like a suit and fedora and New Donk City. New Donk City. Am I the only one who thinks of a penis when I think of New Donk City?
Dong.
I mean, I don't like visualize a penis, but that's the first thing that kind of pops into my head because it sounds like dong.
Dong.
Yeah.
Porn parody. New Donk City with Mario.
It's only a matter of time, I'd imagine.
Yes.
So I look forward to collecting more outfits.
Yeah, one cool thing about Mario is that I preloaded Wolfenstein 2, and I get home from work, and that's the first thing I want to dive into. So I absolutely cannot wait to play that game. Open up Steam, I push play. I preloaded it too. And I said I had to wait 15 minutes to download something else. I'm like, what the hell? I thought the entire point of preloading was so I could play this. And I am going to correct myself. Last week when we were talking about pre-purchase and preloading, you can preload on the Switch now with select games.
Okay.
So
cool.
I looked that up after the podcast.
Isn't it like the Nintendo games?
I think
so. It's just worded weirdly?
This just I guess it means the same thing, but they should have just said you can preload because that's what everybody else says.
Okay.
So just got confused. But anyways, I'm trying to start Wolfenstein, and I have to download some shit, and I just walk over to the Switch and just go and just start the game.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is so easy. And then Wolfenstein, it starts up, it's in 1080p. I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't play in 1080p. What am I, a loser? So I up the resolution to 4K, and the screen is like zoomed in insane. I'm like, what the hell? So I have to change it to like borderless window for it to work.
This is why you buy a PS4, Preston.
So I'm playing the game and I'm like, no, I'm not selling for borderless window. So I Google resolution problems, and the fix is I have to go into the properties of the game and turn off this automatic scaling thing, turn it off and restart the game, and then it works fine. But I was thinking that I was like, man, I just plug in Mario and it works, and I have to, seems like every new game I start on my computer I have to jump through some hoop to make sure that it's running perfectly. Same thing with Assassin's Creed Origins, which I think that had to do with Uplay. Just every time I start the game on Steam, Uplay has to start, and it takes like an hour for the game to get going.
Isn't Uplay like the best ever?
Oh, I greatly appreciate it. That's always what I get most excited when I start a new Ubisoft. It's like, join Uplay. It's like, oh shit, I totally forgot about this.
I can't wait to get these emails, all these stupid in-game bonuses.
I push start, and then Uplay comes up, and I have to enter in my password and stuff, and then it tells me to pull up my Google Authenticator app. Like, shit, my phone's in the other room, so I have to get up and go get it and enter this code. Like, screw you, Uplay. I bought it with Steam, and I still have to go through Uplay, their stupid DM or whatever it's called. But anyways, once everything gets going, it's really awesome. But it was funny just in terms of how easy it is for consoles to start.
And that's what I did. I played Wolfenstein on Casey's PS4, the standard PS4, and it installed because she isn't connected to the internet, her PS4, or at least that night it wasn't connected. So
she
I didn't have
Netflix,
to. Yeah, I didn't have to download any updates or anything. So I just it installed practically instantly, and I played the first two missions. It was nothing. But I will say, the more I've played on PC, the more I've realized it's kind of worth that struggle, because that's one of my favorite aspects of playing on PC is how customizable each game is, as far as frame rates and resolutions and everything. So
the end result is definitely worth it.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, even on a PS4 controller, I'm like, I forgot just how good Wolfenstein feels. I'm like, this feels outstanding. So I can imagine how it feels on a keyboard and mouse.
Are you
amazing
using keyboard and mouse? Or using a controller?
No, okay. I'm using keyboard and mouse for all FPS stuff, but Origins I was playing with a PS4 controller. So, but did you play anything else?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, just D2 and Mario.
Okay, cool. Garrett, you want to talk a little bit about Wolfenstein too?
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first is beautiful. It is. I just had beat the New Order again about a month ago, and it is such a big graphical leap. I guess the new engine they're using, that new id engine, I think Doom was running off kind of the same thing here.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in terms of the character models, just the facial features and stuff, it looks so much better. They do like little flashbacks.
So like the previous game?
Yeah, you can just see the graphical improvement. So it's gorgeous. And of course, on my rig and 4K and everything maxed to crap and stuff, it looks just beautiful. So that's really good. And it, plays great. I'm not super far into it. I'm about, I guess if they're missions, the 6th or 7th mission. And so far it's awesome. It is so much better than the first game in terms of pacing. The hub world is really interesting. I've only done one side quest so far. I had to feed a pig. So I just ran around the hub area looking for food to feed a pig, and I found some potatoes for him.
Nice.
But just there's so many cool places in the hub world, like a cantina, a break room where you can actually go play the original Wolfenstein.
That's cool.
In this break room. And I actually played like 2 levels, and it was really fun. Just all the characters there are, there's side characters that just have a name and they're just there to be there, but all the main characters will talk to you and they're voice acted excellently. I don't remember some of them from the first game, but I kind of do, but not really. But they're really interesting. I'm way more interested in them just in this hub world running around than I ever was in the first game. The first game's hub world kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I'm already running around this one just trying to find everything. But I guess with that out of the way, the big thing we were talking about before this started is just the first 30 minutes to an hour of this game is one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever played in a video game. It kind of left me squeamish, kind of.
Yeah.
And it gives you just a choice that I was thinking the game wasn't going to make me do, but you do have to. So if you're like me and just don't want to do anything, just know you kind of have to.
Yeah, so, I was the same way. I was like, I won't really have to do this.
Yeah.
And yes, you do.
But because of these things, it really makes you hate. Not that it's already easy enough to hate Nazis, but it really makes you hate, especially the main villain. Like, holy crap, she's insane. She just is effed up, and just the you kind of see a glimpse into BJ Blazkowicz's childhood, and it's intense.
Yeah.
So hopefully as the game continues on, I continue to see flashbacks. I haven't seen any since the beginning, but I would really like to see just more of his childhood, because the first game you're just, I'm just some World War II soldier who's going around, shooting guns and stuff. He's he has a little bit of depth when you get into his relationship with Anya, but he just seems like kind of typical soldier guy. But just knowing his childhood and where he's coming from, and his relationship with Anya in this game is way more fleshed out than it was in the first game, in my opinion. And just his relationship with all these characters and the situation that he has been put into from the first game, the way he physically and mentally was left, ended in the first game, just how that has transpired into this game and how he's coping with it and stuff, just really makes you feel for him, and it makes him just super fleshed out in this game as opposed to the New Order. And just in terms of my main grievance with the New Order was just its pacing problems. The first hour was really boring, and it got better and better as time went on. This one just starts out just balls to the wall, and you are just getting at it. It is so much better. The pacing is amazing. You go through this crazy high octane action sequence, and then you pretty much always go, so far you're just going into downtime, exploring the hub, talking with these characters, and then you'll go back into a mission. So it's kind of back and forth. You can take a breather after all the chaos that that happens in these missions. And so far every mission I've played is absolute insanity. So I haven't even made it to like America yet, like we've seen in the trailers, where I know there's a bigger hub area where you can actually walk around in what is America now in that world. So I haven't even got there, but just knowing that's on the horizon has just made me even more excited to keep going and going. My only complaint so far though is the pacing is good and stuff, but the levels I have been in have been a little samey. It's like you start off in just a very I feel like I'll spoil things too much, but hopefully things will change a little bit in terms of where I am. And I'm thinking,
you just mean like the setting, or just like how the levels are designed?
Everything's very. Again, I don't want to say where you go.
6 out of 10. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's just there are 2 missions that take place in kind of the same area. No, the same area. The first mission. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is 2 missions that take place kind of in the same area, and I've been to the hub world about 2 or 3 times now, and then I go to another area and it's kind of has the same mood as the previous areas. I'm looking to see a more bright, happier level, if that makes sense.
Just in terms of like the aesthetic.
Yeah, okay. Everything is so like serious and intense right now. I kind of want to see something brighter, more colorful. That's a good word. Nothing has been like super colorful thus far, but seeing the trailers, I know once you get to like rural America and stuff, that should resolve that. So that's really all I have to say so far in terms of just my overall feelings of the game. But yeah, it plays fantastically. The stealth is really satisfying. It is insanely gruesome.
It is.
The stealth kills once you get your hatchet, my God.
So brutal.
Jacob, you will come up behind somebody and slice both their legs off with a hatchet, and they'll just fall down
and stab them in the chest.
Smack them in the chest or the head with your hatchet. It is crazy.
Yeah, it's intense.
And just in terms of the physics of the body, when they just drop,
when they hit the floor,
intense. They're just the physics are so good when that happens.
So they're not ragdolls.
They are,
but it just looks really good. It looks better than a lot of other first person shooters in terms of just what they do. Like I threw a grenade and one guy just went flying across the room, and it just looked. It didn't look like cartoony. It looked real. Like this guy had really gotten hit.
I've always wanted like the bodies in a game to be so great that like you would blow a body up and they would fly into another person and would knock them down.
I'm pretty sure the bodies lay on top of each other.
Yeah, they do.
As far as I see. So
it would be cool to see like a ragdoll of a NPC you've killed like knock someone over if they get hit by it,
stumble,
or they like trip over it or something. I imagine that's like insanely hard to develop, but that would be really cool.
There are these giant mech-looking guys that aren't as hard. They're not as hard as they seem like they would be. But
talking about the guys with like the lasers.
Yeah, they can boost towards you, which the first time they'll like rocket towards you scared the crap out of me. I was just shooting at him and he was just like, so
are the cool. Robot dogs back?
I haven't seen a robot dog, but I've seen a dog.
Okay.
They're back. I always feel bad.
I think you pilot one of those robot dogs at one point.
Yeah, I heard in a preview of somebody saying that you can do that. What else? The weapons are cool. I haven't gotten anything crazy thus far.
Yeah,
but
I heard you can like equip a sniper in one hand, and
you can dual wield.
It's like
anything.
a shotgun in the other.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Upgrading the weapons is really cool. It's as easy as just finding a weapon kit, and there is no tree you have to follow in terms of upgrading. It gives you like 3 or 4 choices, I think, and you can just pick whatever one you want. So so
there's no like tiers. It's just
it's just do you want a silencer? Do you want the high caliber rounds? Do you want a scope? You can just pick one. So I put a silencer on my handgun so I could pop some heads, and then on my rifle I put a scope, and then on my SMG I put a higher drum, like a drum magazine. So that's really cool that you get to choose what you do in that aspect. The weapons that you pick off these heavies are really cool. There's like a laser cannon, which just melts everything, but it can also melt metal as well. So if enemies are hiding behind cover, you can just destroy it, and the effect of the metal just clearing looks super awesome. You do get this one gun that it looks like it replaces your laser weapon from the New Order.
What's it called? Cold Heart?
Cold Heart, yeah, exactly. And it shoots a little grenade, and you can detonate it, and it destroys those metal objects as well. And apparently I read that based on the decision that you make at the very beginning, choosing which one you want to kill or live, and this is also from the New Order, the very first mission, you have 2 squad mates or whatever to you, and you have to pick which one lives or dies. So instead of this game just taking your save and keeping which one you picked, you get to pick again at the beginning of this game, and apparently that changes some missions. It changes your laser weapon I'm telling you about. It changes that.
So it's encouraging you to play
it again. Yeah. Which is very, exciting.
I assume you have to for the platinum. I know you're not playing on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I don't have looked into the trophies too much.
Be honest with us, Preston. Are you even going to attempt to 100% this?
I can't. Unless they fix it. We were talking about it. The hardest difficulty is permadeath, and this game is already surprisingly hard on normal difficulty.
We're talking. I'm not even on. I thought I was on normal. I guess medium's not normal. But, there's like 7 different difficulties or however many there are. But even on medium or whatever it is, I've died multiple times. Like, surprisingly, I was not expecting to die that quickly. So,
is it like, do you die like knowing what you did wrong, or is it just like bullshit stuff sometimes?
I mean, it's typically like, oh, I just got shot in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no... You can run and gun, but if you're run and gunning with too many people out there, or if there's a heavy out there fighting alongside them, you're gonna get wrecked.
Yeah, naturally I wanted to like doom it, like just run around and go crazy, but I realized you can't really do that. They even have like a leaning mechanic to lean around corners and stuff. I mean, it's certainly not like a cover-based first-person shooter, but there are times where you need to take cover.
You definitely need to take advantage.
Does it play just like Doom and like the speediness of it?
No, it's much slower.
No, apparently halfway through the game you do get some sort of abilities that are along the lines of superpowers, because you are... I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, basically, if you've seen the trailers, you kind of see that BJ is not in the best of health due to what happens at the end of the first one. So you kind of have to... there's a way that you are able to have mobility, and due to that, you are able to get some powers. And I've seen in a trailer one of the powers is like bursting forward super fast. So I think once those are kind of introduced to you, that might make your movement faster or whatever. But so far, it's just kind of regular first-person shooter, speed. The only thing I can do right now that's kind of cool is you can jump and stomp.
Yeah.
I haven't done it to an enemy yet, but
I've wanted to try it to an enemy.
But there are like grates on the floor. You can jump and stomp through them to, transcend levels or go into vents or whatever. But
cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bits is at the beginning, especially. I'm sure they do it all throughout the game, but I walk into this corridor in the submarine. This isn't spoiler. This is just like kind of generic dialogue among the Nazis, but I'm sneaking up behind some, and they're all talking about... I think they call you Terror Billy or something.
Terror Billy.
Yeah, they're like, this Terror Billy guy, he's been running around killing... And I love how they're like, just literally what you do in the previous game. He's killed hundreds of thousands of us. It's like he's an absolute nightmare, and people are like telling stories of like, oh, I heard he did this thing, I heard he did this one thing. This other Nazi's like, yeah, he killed like all these people, and like a few of them were my friends. Like, I want to kill that guy, and I'm like right behind him.
Imagine how terrifying that would be if you're like a Nazi and you're being hunted like this.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's killed so many of us.
I love that. That's so cool. I mean, I know it's all fictional, but I did hear Nazis talking about like this American called Terror Billy that's gonna like come kill all of us. I'm like, so badass.
And you're in a wheelchair in the first mission.
Yeah, that's what's so great about it.
Everybody.
It's absolutely brilliant. And then meanwhile, BJ's like, oh, these damn Nazis in the submarine. Gotta get up to the top. Get out of here.
I've always appreciated BJ's like banter, especially from the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back, and it's really cool.
It's so funny. In the first game, I could hardly hear his voice, so I always had to like really pay attention. But this game, you can crank up his voice, and I cranked up his voice without hearing it cranked up all the way, and it was so loud when I cranked up that it horrified me. Like it was louder than the weapons. And I was like, oh! Like as soon as he started whispering, it sounded like a thunderous god talking over me. So I had to turn it back down to like 75%.
You don't play with subtitles, do you?
I do, yeah. Okay. I turned them on just because I at first like, oh, I'll just crank his voice up, and I was like, well, I can't understand what he's saying now, so I turned on the...
I just play with subtitles, so like he's still whispering, but
yeah,
obviously I know what he's saying.
Yeah, I found myself turning on subtitles in more games anyway because it's so easy to like misunderstand what someone's saying.
I have found myself turning on subtitles on movies I watch now.
Movies?
Yeah, I'm just sick of sometimes not understanding what people are saying. So I understand the story better if I have subtitles.
I understand that.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to reading subtitles with every anime I watch, so it's kind of like watching it with a movie isn't that big of a deal either anymore.
Yeah,
so
it's fine.
But yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I pretty much echo everything you said about Wolfenstein, but in terms of just, like you said, presentation and the way the game feels, it is so far above many shooters. And don't get me wrong, I think Call of Duty feels outstanding. I mean, Call of Duty has always felt wonderful, but in terms of the way Wolfenstein feels, I think it's very applause-worthy to say that Bethesda has published two of the best feeling shooters I've ever played, at least in the last decade with Doom and Wolfenstein 1 and 2 now. I mean, they both feel and they look amazing, and both have been easily two of my favorite shooters I played in a long time. Yep. In addition to all the other shooters that I enjoy, but those especially are noteworthy. Yeah. So it's cool.
Excellent.
But I can't wait to get more into it. Like you said, I mean, I also was not expecting the opening of the game. So I expect to see more of that style of storytelling throughout the game. So that's what's also cool. I mean, not only is it just this high-octane, ridiculous, over-the-top shooter, but it has this really interesting, surprisingly dark and deep story along with it. So it's cool. Really enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
I fear that this game isn't going to sell nearly as well as like Assassin's Creed.
I was going to say, if you're if you are sick of the microtransactions and loot boxes and are sad that single player games are coming out, put your money where your mouth is and buy this game. This game deserves it. It has none of that stuff. It's lengthy for the most part, I think, 10 to 15 hours. If you're playing it again, you could double that if you're trophy hunting and stuff. So and it's great. So if you like single player based shooters or whatever, you need to buy this game and show the market that we like this stuff.
It is fascinating to think how many amazing publishers Bethesda has under their name. I mean, id Software with Doom was fantastic. Can't wait to see their follow up to that. Machine Games,
and I'm pretty sure Doom sold well, but The Evil Within was just put out, and that's an excellent. I played more of that this week. I forgot to tell you that I'm on chapter 8. And I fought this one boss that made me poop my pants.
Right.
It was one of the freaking weirdest things I've ever seen. But that game's excellent. I don't think it's selling too well.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Dishonored as well.
Dishonored got screwed over, and it's one of the best stealth action games I've ever played. It was
not as good as Thief.
Not as good as Thief, but that's God level.
You hold your tongue.
And nobody bought it. So I don't.
That's a shame, man.
So. All the evil games are, the ones that are being bought the most.
I feel like Evil Within 2 would have sold better like January or February or something like that.
Maybe.
Because it's in this cloud of amazing games right now.
I mean, what it has going for it is that it came out on Friday the 13th around Halloween time, but even then, I don't know when it could have sold better. I mean, again, if it wasn't out this fall with everything else, probably. Even if it came out in like January, maybe it would have sold better. I don't know.
See, because like RE7 came out when it did, like, we actually had the chance to really, play it and enjoy it. And I feel like with Evil Within 2, it's just like, I want to play something else right now.
Yeah.
It is really good. People don't need to sleep on that, especially if you're a fan of Resident Evil 4, especially the first one, or just horror games in general. It's not the scariest thing, but there are some pretty weird moments, like this boss I was talking about. You're in a room with it, and you're having to wait for a timer to count down. That's like 80 seconds, so you have to hide from this thing.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just
dude, I love Sebastian's calm and collected reaction to everything. What the hell? To everything. I noticed that when I was playing at PAX, I was like, the most horrifying things are chasing after me, and he's like, what the hell is this? Shit. It's like so calm about everything. It's hilarious. And then people say that's like a character flaw, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard some people complain about that because he knows he's in. It's not like the first game where he doesn't know where he is. Yeah. He knows he's in this stim thing. So, and he's acting so surprised about everything, but he's already seen all this stuff. So why is he still surprised at this point?
I don't know. It's hilarious. It's not like Ethan in Resident Evil 7 like freaking out at everything that crosses his path.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I forgot about that one. I tried to finish it before everything came out. I got pretty far. I think there's like 16 or 17 chapters, so I think I'm halfway through.
Yeah, how many games are you juggling right now?
A lot. I haven't even talked about Assassin's Creed yet. I got that as well, so I guess I'll talk about that a little bit. Not as janky as I thought it was going to be. That's really the main thing I have to say, is that for some reason it looks janky when people play it, but it's actually surprisingly smooth playing it.
I will say, even what I assume PAX was the final build. I think they told me they were like a couple weeks out from the final build at PAX, but even since I played that version, the final version does feel like buttery smooth while you're playing it. So
just the movement has never been better in Assassin's Creed. It doesn't feel stiff like the other ones. The parkour is simplified and it feels better than it has. You walk up to something, which you run automatically now. You just, tilt the stick up.
You don't have to. Remember in the first game, you have to hold down like the trigger and X and something else to go?
Yeah. Now it's just you run, and when you get to something you want to scale, you either hold down X or just tap X, and he just ascends it. If you want to get down, you tap circle or B or whatever.
So just to be clear, because I don't know, you don't have to hold trigger to sprint anymore.
No.
Oh, that's sprint. Great.
Yeah. So it's super easy. He scales everything good. I haven't had any problems yet. Granted, I haven't been in any platforming sections or anything, but for the most part, where I want to go, he goes. He hasn't done the stupid Assassin's Creed thing yet where I'm trying to jump through a window and he's climbing the building and stuff. I've been able to jump through windows and go where I want to go.
Before you continue, let me read this community question so we don't leave it out. Dexter Clark says, Assassin's Creed Origins is here. Likes and dislikes. What does this game do better than the other Assassin's Creed games, or what does it do worse? Well, now let's continue.
Movement.
Yes, that was one.
That's better. I've only played maybe 2 hours. Maybe. I've played a few story missions. I've played quite a few side missions.
I'm still in Siwa at the moment.
Yeah, I am too.
Okay.
I'm only level 7 or 8. So I can't get, super in depth. But so far, I just don't care about the story.
Okay.
The story is just very whatever to me right now.
I've heard it's pretty good in this game.
I've heard that once you are reunited with your wife, that it gets significantly better. Okay. So I'm kind of holding. It's not bad. I just really don't care.
I'm a little. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm confused. I find it odd how the story's being told. It's a lot of back and forth.
Yes,
and I don't know why that's the case.
I'm getting confused with the main character because there are these flashbacks of him he looks different. He has a shaved head, no beard, and then when you're actually playing, you have these dreads and a giant beard.
Which I think looks badass.
Yeah, he looks awesome. And you can toggle your hood on and off, which is what people have been asking for.
And we just found out you can toggle the hair and beard,
which is cool.
It's funny you speak of that because I was listening to the Game Informer show, and they were complaining about how confusing the beginning of the game is with all the flashbacks.
Oh, it is. I could not tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I get the feeling their idea behind this was we want to put people in the action right away, whereas traditional Assassin's Creed is you got to be a little kid or you got to grow up and learn how to do parkour.
Let me tell you how the game starts. It starts with you walking up to this dude and he's talking to you about some shit, and you have a mask of his, and I forgot how a knife gets in it, but then you shove it on his face, and then you're in a sandstorm, and then you're fighting this guy with a club, and then you fall through a floor and you kill him, and then you traverse through this pyramid, then you get out and you have a friend who's fighting these guys, and you're like, oh hi, let's go home. And you go home, and then they're like, oh, this other guy, you need to go kill him. Yeah. And then you're having flashbacks about your son or something.
It's so weird because when you go to assassinate your first target, or your first main target, is when you bring him down, it goes into traditional cutscene mode for Assassin's Creed.
That's different. You actually have to confirm your kill now. Once you kill the guy you're supposed to assassinate, you have to walk over to him and hold down triangle to confirm that he's dead. So I don't know what that is.
But it was weird because there's a cutscene in the middle of you having this dialogue with this guy you've just supposedly killed. It cuts to a flashback for 20 minutes, and then you go right back to that scene where you were fighting this guy. I'm like, why did we tell the story this way?
Yeah, it's a little disjointed.
So I don't know why it's...
I didn't know when it goes to the flashback. I thought I was playing as the friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they look similar. Because they have the same hairdo and stuff.
I could tell just because of the accent.
Oh, see, I couldn't.
And I could tell because at the beginning of the game, it very briefly shows Bayek and his son together.
See, I didn't know that was Bayek. Because then it cuts to me and I have dreads and a beard. So I don't even know in the flashbacks who the hell I'm controlling and stuff. So I must be just dumb.
Because I was convinced at the beginning when they were showing you like teaching you the combat and teaching you how to scale stuff and be stealthy. I'm like, okay, this will be introducing us to the mechanics, and then it'll flash back and tell his story up to this point.
Yeah. But no, it just goes.
Yeah, just back and forth. I'm like, this is so strange. But I mean, I can forgive it because, like you said, it feels so good.
Yeah, it's fun.
And Egypt,
I want to go forward.
And like we said, we're only in Siwa, and I'm already blown away at the setting. It's so cool.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It is so pretty.
A whole lot to discover too. I'm not the first to say that, but I didn't realize when people were like, oh, there's so much to discover, just how many places there are to just run into, like whether it be a temple or a cave or something. It's cool.
Yeah. I know it's early, but how do you feel about Bayek? That's his name, right?
I think I haven't gotten to know him enough, but just in terms of his appearance and his accent,
he looks
and sounds awesome.
Yeah, his armor and stuff and his hairdo.
Where does he rank
awesome.
among the looks of the other assassins in your book? What's your favorite assassin? Where's he on your chart?
In terms of appearance?
Just in terms of appearance.
I don't know if it is. Maybe
I think they all have honestly looked really cool. Okay. Probably my least favorite looking assassin was Arno.
Yeah, I was going to say Arno's my least favorite too.
So his traditional assassin garb does look cool, and it fits that time period. That's my favorite thing. Is I think they do an excellent job of
diversifying the appearance of each one.
And making it look like their fits,
time period.
But you can clearly tell it's an assassin. I think they do an excellent job of doing that, and this one is definitely no different. You have the coattails of the. That's the thing though. I don't think there are assassins yet, so maybe we'll see where this appearance.
That's why I'm excited for this story specifically. This being the origins of Assassin's Creed. It's cool to think that Bayek, before finding about the Templars and Altair and like this established order.
Oh yeah, and they have the Apple of Eden.
Yeah.
Oh,
but they haven't
figured out like what to do with it or what it is.
They're just like, I have this thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You need to open this temple.
Is it like enshrined or is it like worshipped?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's just a thing.
No.
That exists?
Granted, I need to have a disclaimer. I was looking through Twitter through some of these cutscenes too. I was paying attention, but I was also doing something on my phone.
Okay.
I wasn't completely blocking the game out because I was having so much fun playing the game, and it would get to a cutscene and I wouldn't really know what was going on, so I'd kind of slip my phone out and just like, okay, I want to play again. So that's probably a little bit of the reason, but I tried to in the beginning and I still didn't really understand completely what was going on.
Okay. Yeah. I guess we'll see how it plays out in terms of story. But the game, I really like the RPG take on this one. But it's not as deep as I'd like it to be. I mean, if they're going to go RPG with like the loot system and the upgrades and everything to your character, I kind of wish they do that with the armor as well, because the appearances are purely aesthetic, and I kind of wish they'd just go all in. Like, if you want to play more stealthily, wear this outfit, or if you want
there are armor pieces though, right?
There are, but none of them have stats or anything. It's just about how you want to look.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. There's no stats or anything.
Have you seen the like in-game final best armor?
I have not.
Okay, I had this spoiled for me.
I've seen. Is it the one that's like a black Sphinx mask?
It's like neon orange too. It's black and has like orange things around it. It looks really cool.
Okay, I mean, I've seen a bunch of different stuff from screenshots and everything, but I haven't seen it for myself.
I've seen a few pieces of armor. So how do you unlock different appearances?
It is all through the store, whether through microtransactions or in-game currency. I'm pretty sure. That's only
so if I equip a different piece of armor, it doesn't change on myself?
It does.
Okay.
You mean like, because I know you have like your tools and you have like your breastplate thing you can craft.
And 2 wrist guards.
Yeah, I think those might change. I haven't noticed because, like I said, I've hardly played as well. But right now I'm wearing the...
Maybe the appearance is just your cloth while the armor changes.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm wearing the Scarab Soldier outfit right now.
Where'd you get different?
The store.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't know. I've seen people called like, it's called like crafters or something in the town. I haven't gone to see them yet. I don't know if they can make you. I think they make you additional armor.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But I've seen a few of them on the store.
Yeah. I haven't had any armor drops yet. Just all weapons.
I do like how each weapon feels significantly different. Like the long swords feel different from the double-handed swords, and the spears feel different. So how do you feel about the bow and arrows?
They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally messed up. I didn't know there were different types of arrows.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a brand new arrow and I equipped it and I went to snipe somebody. And the second I pulled the trigger to draw it back, I just shot out an arrow immediately. It was a quick shot one. Completely messed up my stealth. So have to pay attention to that now. But I mean, they're fine. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's cool. Again, I've hardly played. I mean, I've had a rapid shot one. I've had one where I'm in first person. Have you used one of those?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's another one where you can't hold it and draw back. It just shoots instantly.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
But yeah, the same thing like we predicted with the stealth. I mean, the stealth feels fine, but it still annoys me with the guys that are. I'm level 4, a guy's 1 level higher than me, level 5. Now, granted, my bow might have not been very good, but I snuck up on a guy sleeping and shot him point blank in the face with an arrow, and it only took down half his health. He's like, "What the hell?" And I had to like run out of there, and like a whole army chased me.
Why is this arrow in my head?
I feel like I had a whole army chasing me as well, and I had no chance in combat.
Oh,
so
me
I do
neither.
feel
It was
like
horrifying.
Stealth is incentivized in a lot of these, take over the fort situations.
I've seen a lot of people complaining about when you're in groups in combat, it just feels terrible, which I don't know if I totally agree with that yet. Again, I have to saying I haven't played very much.
I think when there's more, and I can't say anything about it either, but I think something that might be a problem in big group scenarios is the lock-on.
Yeah, it's kind of janky.
It is janky. Switching between targets is janky. And just like in Bloodborne or Dark Souls, I would never lock onto somebody if it was more than one-on-one.
Right.
So I think a problem might be people are locking on in those situations where unlocking it will allow you to freely move the camera, dodge around, maybe take a few guys out that way. I haven't experimented with that a lot yet, but I think that might be a reason a lot of guys are hard to take as well.
I also like how you can build up what's essentially, I guess, your super meter. We can instantly kill a guy. That's pretty cool.
And I think maybe it's not a good idea to fight an entire army.
I want to feel that way, but then again, it, just to go back to the stealth thing, it annoys me when I pop a guy in the face with an arrow and he's fine.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I guess that incentivizes you to go to camps or deal with enemies that are your level and stay away from the stronger ones.
Which I've never totally understood that. Like, I mean, I guess in Horizon I didn't mind it as much, which I guess I shouldn't mind in Assassin's Creed either, but I kind of just wish it was the same everywhere you go. Just like it's all based on your skill levels of player. How much skill does it take to sneak around a corner and stab someone? Not really any skill at all. But it's not really a complaint on my end. I still just wish I could stealth kill guys instantly. Maybe the hidden blade is like your power tool. Maybe that does kill people.
I'm sure
every time.
The better you make your hidden blade or the more you upgrade it, it probably will have a special feature to take more damage, and you'll be able to take out guys.
So I guess Bayek's credited as inventing the hidden blade.
I guess.
Which I can't wait to see how he comes up with it.
That's cool.
So things I appreciate though, even though it is kind of confusing storytelling wise, I like how it just throws you right into the action. There's no more BS at the beginning, especially with the future stuff. I'm sure that'll happen eventually, but I haven't seen an ounce of future stuff at all so far, with the exception of the Animus loading screen. So unless they are just doing that for tradition's sake, I'm wondering if it'll be like kind of how I wanted them to do the movie, where the entire movie's based in that historical
I've heard
setting.
that it's done better this game than the previous games, where they start doing like you're in that workplace or whatever.
Yeah, because I wanted Fassbender's movie to be all based in the historical setting, and then at the very end they reveal like, oh, this takes place in the future. Maybe they'll do that with this game at the very end. Like, whoa! So I don't know. We'll see, but so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. A Jeep. This coffee's wearing off really quickly. The setting is phenomenal. I mean, everywhere you go, it's gorgeous as far as like the lakes and the pyramids and the temples and the mountains.
Have you guys found the Egyptian god cards yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a
holographic
Cypher the Sky Dragon.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Obelisk the Tormentor.
Yeah.
And
what's the last one?
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
The Sun God. Yeah. Dude, I had those. I had the knockoff fake,
the Japanese versions or whatever.
Yeah.
I had a fake one of the Red Dragon, dude.
I did too.
I traded a nice card of mine back in the day for it, and it wasn't even a real card.
Yeah, this dude in elementary school totally ripped me off with these fake Egyptian god cards.
I think I gave him like my Dark Magician that came in like the starter deck thing.
Okay.
I remember being upset about it. So I really liked that card. But I really wanted that freaking Egyptian God card, man. They're so OP.
Kaiba.
I remember. Kevin Mikulowski, if you're out there, contact us.
I tried to find him on Facebook. I couldn't find him.
He got all of the what was that dude with the 5 cards? Obelisk, the Tormentor.
Exodia.
Exodia. Obliterate. He got all of the Exodia cards from some other kid, and who knows if they were real. I'm pretty sure they were real. They looked really real, and he was very knowledgeable about the cards, and he claimed they were real. And I remember when he finally got all of them, the look on his face, it wasn't of joy, it was of horror, because he thought he had just like did a transaction in front of several people, and somebody had just given him $1 million, and he was scared somebody was going to mug him.
Wow.
So he grabbed him and was just like, and he like shoved him in his pants and just started running off. And I wanted to look at him, but he just ran off. He was horrified somebody was going to take him.
Wow. It's like you protecting Ocarina of Time on N64 when we were kids. You wouldn't let me lay a finger on that game. Same with Majora's Mask.
I want to tell you a story, Garrett. Okay. I don't know who said it. I think I might have read it on Twitter, but some guy whipped out a Switch at a party or something, and his friend had never seen a Switch.
Okay.
And he was showing off the new Zelda. He went to the bathroom and came back, and the guy accidentally deleted his 150-hour save. That was my fear.
I don't blame you, dude. Especially with Majora's Mask, especially because I was unaware that they had like the timer feature in that game when we were kids. So I can understand why you wouldn't want me effing around in your save. You want to hear the meanest thing I think I've ever been a part of in my entire life? Okay. I've done a handful of mean things in my life where I thought it would be funny, and after I do it, I'm like, that was cruel.
Yeah.
Well, this was probably one of the most cruel things. I know I didn't do this, but I was present for it, and I could have stopped it, but I was like so intrigued by how mean it was. And I was like, I kind of wanted to see where this goes. So we were at Rivera's house, and he was in the middle of playing Call of Duty. He was like 3rd or 4th prestige. He had like all of his weapons decked out. He's very happy with the setup. And I was there with Bynum and McDearmont. You know how McDearmont can get sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
So shout out to Zach McDearmont if for whatever reason you tune into this podcast. We were sitting there, and Rivera's like, I got to go to the bathroom. We're like, all right, man. And he gets to the bathroom, and we're like, we're going to prestige him. Because Zach was going on and on about he did not want to prestige again. He's like, I'm very happy with my setup. And McDearmont just prestiged him while he was in the bathroom, and he came back. Everything was gone. He was devastated, man. And I could have stopped him. I mean, it was a good like 30 seconds. We're like, are we going to do it? Are we not going to do it? Are we going to do it? And I was like, I don't want to do it. You guys are going to have to do it. And I could have been like, don't do it. But they prestiged him.
You didn't get unlock tokens back then either, did you? Like you just started.
I don't think I think that was Call of Duty. I think it was Modern Warfare 2 at the time.
Yeah, definitely not. Man, bunch of bastards. Yeah.
So I was
and it's just screw you, man. How dumb is that? You do it, and he comes back, and you're like,
what's yeah, we got you.
Gotcha. And then he's just pissed off.
All right, we're gonna have fun the rest of the day.
Yeah, I don't know why we did that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty mean.
Kids.
Yeah. But yeah, man, all 3 of these games are so much fun. I can't wait to get back to them. I'm especially excited for the next 2 weeks. Obviously, we're getting Call of Duty and Star Wars in addition to these games, but I think it's the 15th or 16th is my last day of this quarter, and I have all of November and December off before I go back to school. Of course, I'll be working a lot in that time, but as far as playing video games, I'll have a little more time to dive into all those.
Gotcha. So what's your plan with this many games out? Do you have a set order of games in which you
I will be juggling all the way through the end of the year, probably. Okay. I'm going to focus at least when I'm on the go, because I'm on the go so often. I'll be playing a lot of Mario. When I'm at home, I'm going to get through Wolfenstein before Assassin's Creed, because Assassin's Creed is obviously lengthier than Wolfenstein. Then as far as shooters are concerned, I'm going to blow through Call of Duty's campaign and Star Wars' campaign. I'm going to make it a goal of mine to get through Call of Duty's campaign before Star Wars comes out 2 weeks later.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to get through all the campaigns of the shooters. And then as I'm playing through more of Mario and Assassin's Creed back and forth, I don't know how much Assassin's Creed I'm going to play. I definitely intend on beating it. I don't know how long it's going to take me.
I at least want to beat it, for sure.
But I will be dabbling with multiplayer and Call of Duty and Star Wars along the way.
Okay.
So
that's kind of more or less what I plan on doing as well. Definitely want to finish Wolfenstein. I want to do that this week because I'm horrified of spoilers. and I know that the ending apparently is incredible to this game, and I just cannot take having that spoiled.
Yeah.
I already unsubscribed to one trophy hunter on YouTube because he ruined one of the trophies, which confirmed a particular person is in this game.
Ooh.
And it pissed me off because there was the thumbnail was this person in the game.
What game is this?
Wolfenstein.
Okay.
And I was like, well, sorry, I'm unsubscribing from you.
That sucks.
Sorry, man, you shouldn't be spoiling, things in the thumbnail. That's
why I'm horrified.
Dumb.
Just the internet in general. I haven't seen any of Stranger Things season 2 yet. And I know people are posting all kinds of stuff like Easter eggs in this episode, Easter eggs in that episode, all over the place. I'm having to dodge every video on YouTube I come across.
Yeah.
So same thing for games. I won't get through them anytime soon. The next 3 weeks are going to be grueling as far as school is concerned for me and work. So I'm not going to have much of any time at all to play anything except for Mario for the next few weeks. That's the beauty of the Switch. I can take it with me.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about Mario. I love Mario, but I don't know if I want to keep it as my handheld game or I don't know.
It's tricky because you don't know if you're going to be going somewhere.
Yeah,
necessarily.
Which is weird because I'm not as compelled to go back to Mario as I am with Wolfenstein.
Yeah, it's more of just pick up and play when you want to. It's more of
which is weird because I love Mario. Mario's fantastic. Just me playing the hour or two was so much fun, and I was so happy playing it that I was playing a new 3D Mario. It was the same exact feeling I had with Zelda, where you don't get these often, and it's super exciting when you finally have one in your possession. So I love that, but I really want to get through Wolfenstein and all the other stuff for now. I don't know.
You know what blew my mind last night is the mindset of someone who just has zero interest in video games when they see something very cool. Like one of the guys I work with, I don't know how he got on the subject, but I have my Switch handy. And he saw it and he's like, "Oh, is that a Switch?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, cool." I was like, "Yeah, you want to hold it?" And he's like, whatever. I was like, I'll whip it up for you. You can take a look at it. I have the new Mario game. He's like, "New Mario?" He's like, "Is it like Super Mario World?" I was like, "No, it's more like Super Mario 64, like Sunshine." He's like, "Oh, cool, okay." So I hand him the Switch and he's holding it, looking at Mario, and he just kind of moves forward 3 feet, and he's like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." He's like, "I'm just not really into video games anymore." I was like, blew my mind because as gamers, the whole world's freaking out about Mario, and I'm totally in love with it. And he's like, "Yeah, cool, man." He's hands it back to me. I was like, all right. So I was like, I will enjoy this myself then.
Oh, speaking of that, I've had this happen to me several times, but it happened this past week. So I boot up Wolfenstein, and like I said, I'm gonna stroke my E-dick here.
Okay.
It looks phenomenal on my build. 4K there's low, medium, high, very high, ultra, then mine uber, and I'm on everything, just sliders cranked up, let's do this. Looks absolutely gorgeous, running incredible. And my wife comes in, she's like, "You playing your new game?" Yeah. I was like, "Check it out." And I'm showing her this game, which is it's gorgeous. Yeah. It's breathtaking. It is the pinnacle of where games have come in terms of graphics and stuff. She's like, "That's cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, doesn't it look amazing?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Aren't you drooling at the mouth?
Yeah, I'm like, aren't you impressed by how good this looks? "Yeah, it looks fine, I guess."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, it just looks like all your other games."
Yeah.
It's okay.
I guess it really takes an eye of someone who's played these games extensively.
I know, my girl I dated before was like, "Why don't games look like Toy Story and stuff in terms of the CGI?" I'm like, "Well, because it's a game.
Yeah.
You're playing it. It's not a."
It's an active thing.
Yeah, it's not something that you make and can tweak, and it's just a
like a render of something.
Exactly. And it's just weird how when we see something, we're like, "Holy shit, that's insane," and just somebody else can just be like, "Yeah, that's the game."
Yeah,
they all look like that. Everything looks like that. So just trying to. The worst thing is having a parent when some mind shattering game comes out and you're trying to just explain to them "No, this is unreal what's happening right here." And they're like, "Okay, it's a video game, it's fine." Yeah, that's so just Like,
it's a strange life. It's like a whole different world.
It's like anytime I try to... My mom grew up on Nintendo games kind of when she was littler, and I always like show her my Switch games and stuff. She's like, oh, that's cool, you know?
It reminds me of like general movie-going audiences where they see like the Last Jedi trailer, like they're making a new Star Wars? Like, which number is this? It's like people like that blow my mind.
Like, first, when Skyrim came out, my mom came up there because I'd been talking about it nonstop. Mm-hmm. And she even wanted to see what the hubbub was about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, that mountain. I'm like Todd Howard. You can go to the top of that mountain. And they're just like, okay. Cool.
Great.
Yeah, have fun. I'm like, how's your mind not blown by this?
My favorite is when people share trailers of either games that came out years ago or like games that are fake, and they share them like, this looks so cool.
Like GTA 6. Like, dude, sick.
Dude, oh my God. Chris.
It's in Japan.
Chris from our band shares stuff like that all the time. Like, doesn't even realize either it's completely fake or like came out years ago. Like, this looks so cool.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know why that when the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy was coming out, just people that don't play games were sharing that video. Mm-hmm. They're like, totally picking this best video game ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm
going to get it from my Xbox 360.
Yeah, like just stuff like that. And it's like, whatever. They don't know any better. That's fine. I feel like if I think that way,
dude, we're so much better than they are.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's so dumb to even think that way.
Yeah,
but it's like, it's my hobby. You don't know what you're talking about,
right? Yeah, it reminds me of working with sound guys all the time. It's like the weirdest thing when you're a sound person, because it seems like every sound guy has to talk about how many years they've been doing it and also how much they know. Like, you can't ever escape a conversation with a sound guy where they even just very subtly mention something like that.
Did I tell you about the one guy I worked with that ran sound for Megadeth?
No.
Dude, every 10 minutes. Yeah, dude, back when I was running sound for Megadeth, it was just over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, man.
I don't know what it is, man. I've never been one of those guys ever. I cannot stand when people are like that. And like, you'll be talking to a sound guy about like cheeseburgers. Like, yeah, dude, I love Five Guys. Like, Five Guys is so good, man. You're like,
back when I ran
there.
sound for Megadeth.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You'll be talking about like cheeseburgers, and someone like before you even like walk away, they'll be like, yeah, dude, this guy needs to cut a little more out of 2K. And you're like, thanks, sure. And they walk away. It's like, yeah, this guy's his kick sounds a little tinny, like just out of nowhere. Like, they always have to say something.
Yeah.
So it's like the guy, when I was working with Ryan in Birmingham before I left SMS, some guy walks in, like, hasn't been on the job site. We've been there for like a full week. This guy walks in, like, here to like tune the speakers or whatever. Walks in, he's like, those E609s? And he like walks in, he's like checking them out. He's like, yeah, these are E609s, dude. The woofers in this thing or something, they're so sick, dude. And he like kept talking about the E609s or whatever he called them. And that was like a joke with me and Ryan for like the last month I worked for SMS. Every time I saw him, any sub we saw, any speaker, he'd be like, E609s, would be like, yeah, dude. And he'd be like, sick. So every sound guy, man, it's all the same.
Dude, apparently, little job talk, apparently Gwinnett is like a hellhole right now.
Well, as far as sound?
Just in terms of the job.
Gwinnett
Church.
I thought that job was done.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Didn't you say you're working at Brownsbridge?
I'm at Brownsbridge, yeah.
You're still there right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that going?
Smooth. It's easy.
I was volunteering one weekend, and I heard them talking about how they're getting like a new system installed and stuff. So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
It's looking good. We haven't had any kinks so far, so that's always good.
The reason I bring that up, though, just because the other night, this guy who used to work at, apparently the venue I'm working at now, used to work there years ago. It's just has seen so many changes since he had been there last. He was one of the current guys is giving him kind of a rundown of everything. He's giving him a rundown like, yeah, we typically do this on this board, and the guy like very quietly and subtly was like, yeah, well, I've been doing this for like a decade, so I think I'll be fine.
That's something I would say to get you off my back.
So. Even if I knew everything, and this happens often, if I know everything the person's saying, I just pretend like I'm hearing it for the first time, because I can't bring myself to be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just like, sure, cool.
And who said that? One of the church members?
No, this is at the bar I'm working at in Atlanta.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, good times.
Excellent.
Video games, man, they're great.
Yeah, my least favorite thing that's happened one of the last jobs is me and Paul put these badass TVs in this video room. We had a pole coming down out of the ceiling and had two like 65s right butted up next to each other. It looked incredible. And this guy walks in and goes, I think those are crooked. We spent like an entire day. We had to like drill it through all this concrete and like hung these TVs, and they were perfectly level. And it was like, nah, dude. Those are unlevel.
You remember those guys when we were working at Woodstock that hung like 30 TVs incorrectly and like destroyed walls, and you had to fix all of them?
We joke about that all the time.
And they were there for like 2 or 3 days and like destroyed the entire place. Gimli, yeah.
This guy looked just like Gimli.
Oh God.
They were going around, dude, and just destroying.
You would think
walls.
They were like taking sledgehammers to walls, and you'd come by and a TV would be like not like 60 degrees crooked, and be like,
there was one room where 2 TVs were going up next to each other, and I walk in, and Gimli's next to me, and I go, dude, why is this TV on the left higher than this one on the right? I was like, did you measure, the same height so they'd be the same? And he turns and looks at me and goes, that would have been a good idea.
Oh God.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah. He's just willy-nilly throwing 2 TVs on the same wall at completely different heights.
Man, it was so funny how short of a time they were there for. Like,
no, we took a TV off the wall and there were like holes all behind the TV.
You could tell they effed up like 6 times.
What are you doing?
Yeah, good times.
Yep, good times indeed.
I will say, hanging a TV as well as you do. I'm not trying to like toot your horn or anything, but I consider that like a serious art. Like to hang a TV that perfectly, I don't think I could ever do that. I've tried to hang TVs. But I mean, I haven't effed up as much as Gimli did.
Yeah,
but
it's a process.
Hanging a TV perfectly, that's an art form.
Yeah, it's not as easy as just hanging the TV's fine. It's hiding all the cables and making sure
and like measuring it and leveling it perfectly and everything.
Correctly. Yeah, actually, I think I'm doing your workout room.
Are you?
Your father approached me.
Yeah,
he wants to hang a TV up there and run all the.
I will watch you with like a snack in hand while you're here doing that.
Okay, I'd enjoy that. Anyways, you want to talk about video games?
Yeah.
Is there some news this week?
There is some news.
There's news. Well, this is the ItsObviousGaming podcast. What time is it?
It's almost 2 hours in.
Okay. Is it really?
Hour and a half.
Holy crap. Yeah. This is the Obvious Gaming podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Audio Boom, all the podcasting services. Subscribe to us at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. Be sure to like and comment down below and talk with our community. Check out our Discord channel. Everything's down in the description down below, including time codes if you want to completely skip us talking about hanging televisions. But with all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
Gentlemen, we have received quite the insightful update from Jason Schreier of Kotaku regarding the Visceral game shutdown at EA. And their game Ragtag was either the code name or the official name of the game. I'm not sure.
It was a code name.
But amazing read. I shared it on Discord. It's basically like reading a short book. It's so long and detailed, but if you have already read it, you know how great of a read it is because it's so interesting as far as what went down with Visceral and EA, because it's so much more. There's so much more to the story than what it seemed. On the surface, everyone's like, "Oh, EA hates single player games and they want microtransactions, so they just like killed the Star Wars game because it couldn't make them any money." But there's so much more to it, and that really wasn't the story at all, which is fascinating. But I'm sure some of you maybe have already read the story. But I'm going to read off some of the bullet points that really stand out. And again, there's so much more. I highly suggest you guys read it. I'll even link it in the description of this video so you can find it easily if you're that interested after reading these bullet points.
It is a good read.
But this is amazing. So here's the first one. It says, Visceral's Ragtag, which was the story of a band of characters fighting against a mob boss, and the center is the protagonist Dodger, a Han Solo-type rogue with a charming mustache. Said this was meant to be EA's entry into the action-adventure market, a linear Star Wars story set between Episode 4 and 5 movies that would compete with the likes of Uncharted and Tomb Raider. Apparently... And again, this went over along for years. This game was in development. It says many demos were developed that didn't impress EA, and they included the cast being chased by an AT-ST in a sequence, a shootout on Tatooine, and a rescue mission within Jabba's palace. But the story behind Ragtag is more complicated than critics and pundits have assumed, and the project was more troubled than EA has admitted publicly. Among game developers, it's been an open secret for months that Visceral's game was in danger. The studio had been bleeding staff for years, and recruiters across the video game industry exchanged whispers about Visceral employees who were looking for new work, according to several people who have shared these rumors with me over the past couple of years. According to anonymous sources both inside and outside Visceral, the game was too ambitious for its budget. Frostbite was a difficult engine to develop the game on. San Francisco has crazy expenses to live in, so the staff's budgets were extremely tight. And toxicity between EA, Visceral, and additional EA studios assisting with the development of Ragtag was pretty intense, and what can only be described as a whole was the curse of Star Wars, apparently, as far as developing a Star Wars game. Now that is very, very brief as far as going in depth of what actually happened there. Long story short, the staff, like they said, they were bleeding staff for years. People were just leaving for multiple reasons. One, EA would always come in and ask, like where, I don't know, there's very specific things, and there's so much I can't remember all of it, but Amy Hennig apparently was very controlling, and not to a point where people were like, Amy Hennig's terrible. There's like, everyone would always say anonymously, like, Amy Hennig's amazing storyteller, but she had tried to put her hand in all the baskets because she's used to being a Naughty Dog where people are just phenomenal.
That's how it kind of worked there.
Yeah. Obviously I think she wrote and directed the first 3 along with Bruce Straley, correct? I think that's what the story was, but and then she left after the debacle with Uncharted 4 in the middle of it. Went to Visceral, and she's used to the Naughty Dog being the badasses that they are. The Visceral's not quite as experienced as I
think it's a smaller
Naughty Dog
team too.
Yeah, much smaller team.
Plus
I think Naughty Dog was in the hundreds, and Visceral was averaging around 60 to 80, I believe, the entire time.
Dang.
I believe briefly it said that she had to work on Hardline too.
When she first arrived, before they began work on Ragtag, she was assigned to do writing and cutscenes for Hardline, finishing that game up.
Like, it's no wonder we weren't hearing anything, or like it was taking so long to make this game, because everyone was just it's just a mess in that studio.
Yeah, because Visceral was handed Hardline after Dead Space 3 kind of tanked. They're like, all right, well, you guys can take this shit. The follow up to Battlefield 4 or whatever it was.
Then it didn't even turn out great.
No, yeah, it didn't so well. I mean, again, like, who's going to buy Battlefield Hardline after 4? I mean, it was a cool idea, but I even before that game came out, I was thinking, like, who's going to buy this? I think the only person I knew that bought it was Evan, and even when I watched him play
it was an interesting idea. I mean, cops and robbers.
Yeah, see, I liked the idea, but not enough to buy the game. But
I followed a Destiny YouTuber who transitioned over to Battlefield Hardline, and he said it was like the best multiplayer shooter ever.
Really?
Yeah, and the comments were just like, you have to be getting paid for this. Like, there's absolutely no way you're for real. And then his channel just like disappeared.
Right. So when Ragtag started, they realized that, I mean, EA apparently was manipulating a lot of things, but Visceral themselves couldn't get along with each other either, mainly because of Amy Hennig wanting to not only write and direct the game, which they all said was awesome. They all were totally in love and on board with the story, but as far as design of the game, she kept trying to tell people like what needed to be changed, and apparently contacting Amy Hennig was difficult too for the team, where they would make a change to the game and have to wait weeks to potentially months because Amy Hennig was constantly in LA dealing with actors shooting scenes for the game.
I've heard that, sorry to interrupt you, but even more so, like, trying to communicate with Lucas or Lucasfilm,
to get improvements or approvals for the game itself, like as far as designs and characters,
because it's different. Like with Naughty Dog, they own the franchise, like,
right? With Uncharted and Last of Us,
they have creative liberty.
They can do anything they want.
There's such a long chain of command with Star Wars. Oh my god!
And they said it was one thing with LucasArts. They said, as cool as it was working on a Star Wars games, in a lot of ways it sucked because, they have to, like, they'll make a change to a weapon and they won't hear from Lucasfilm for like 6 months, and they'll finally be like, no, you can't do that, and they have to start from scratch and hopefully hear back from them in a few months. That was a problem. And then EA as well, they had to get approvals for certain things, and Amy Hennig as well, they said was a problem because they would do something in the game and she would come back after months and be like, I'm not really digging that, and they'd have to also change that as well. So months and years just changing things here and there and hardly getting anything done. And they said the game snippet itself, I mean, I'm kind of bouncing around here. There's a million things that it's very structured when you read it. But even that little snippet we saw at E3 a couple years ago when Dodger in the scene walks out of that door in Tatooine and touches the door. They said they spent months just getting him to touch that door a certain way as he walked out. Just that simple animation. Because they said at Visceral, not only working on Frostbite, which is primarily built for first-person shooters.
That's what I wanted to bring up is the engine.
They said that was one of the main problems because Frostbite created by DICE is intended to create shooters, which every shooter made on Frostbite looks amazing.
Pretty sure Andromeda and Inquisition were made on Frostbite.
They were. I heard the same thing that BioWare also had struggled with Frostbite, and I think that's why BioWare said one of their main reasons for the crappy facial animations in Andromeda was because of Frostbite. They had to create things from scratch. Same thing with Ragtag.
If I'm not mistaken, that engine was made for Battlefield.
It was.
Originally,
I think Battlefield 3 was the first game that took advantage of that.
And they've just been kind of integrating it into every game they have.
Yeah, I think EA basically mandated.
Forcing,
EA's like, you all have to use Frostbite, which I think is interesting. What was another game I played recently that was on Frostbite? I think it was maybe it was Madden's story mode was on Frostbite. Maybe the whole game. I can't remember.
Yeah, but according
is it FIFA on Frostbite?
I think it is now, yeah. Which is funny you say that because I don't play FIFA enough to realize changes, but Zach told me that FIFA 18, I don't know if he's changed his opinion on this one. When he first played it, said it felt like crap, and I think 18 was the first one built on Frostbite, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the newest one?
Yeah. Okay. But Ragtag's team had to create all kinds of things from scratch. And
I've heard there were like assets that were absent in the Frostbite that most other engines, you take it for granted.
Exactly.
How easy it is or something like that.
Which I thought, so this whole thing just fascinated me, a look behind the curtain as far as how much struggle they had developing this game. And they always had held over their head was not only Amy Hennig, but EA as well. Like, this needs to be as good or better than Uncharted 4. And in every meeting, EA would say, this has to get a 90 on Metacritic. Apparently, I'm sure a lot of publishers do this, but EA, apparently, according to these anonymous developers, say that EA treats Metacritic like the Bible. Like, if it's not a 90 or above, then we're not going to be happy with it. So that would always have that hanging over there. And Visceral knew from day one, there is no way we can even come close to touching the quality of Uncharted 4.
I guarantee you Star Wars isn't going to be a 90. Battlefront 2.
According to Wikipedia, all the Battlefield games have been on a version of Frostbite.
Okay.
Yeah, I just mean like the newer Frostbite is what all the new EA games are on. I think it's like Frostbite 4 or something. I don't remember what it's called.
I don't see it.
I'm sure if you go to the main websites of EA games,
FIFA 17 and 18
are on Frostbite. Okay.
Frostbite.
Yeah, they said they knew they could never achieve that because one, they were
and Madden 18 is Frostbite.
Cool.
The first Madden game on Frostbite.
They said that they knew Naughty Dog is regarded as like the tentpole game developer in the industry right now, and they knew they couldn't touch the level of Uncharted 1 because they're working with Frostbite and they didn't have half of what Naughty Dog was using in their own engine for these third-person action games. They had to create it all from scratch. But secondly, Naughty Dog's been doing it for so long that Visceral straight up said, we may be lucky to reach the level of Uncharted 1's presentation and gameplay and everything just because we can't do that.
That's just like, okay, guys, make something better than the best third-person action franchises. Just your first try.
Yeah.
Go for it. That's so... I mean, even with
Star Wars.
And like, yeah.
It has to be a knockout of the park if it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, I think gone are the days where we have these mediocre Star Wars games everywhere.
Yeah. That's the thing, though, is I think a mediocre single-player Star Wars game still would sell incredibly well.
I just don't... that's half the reason Battlefield or Battlefront 1 sold so well.
Yeah, I think that they envisioned, like you said, Uncharted, level quality, and that, that was too much for
unrealistic for that team, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, people apparently were constantly arguing on Visceral too because no one could get along, and EA constantly had different... I think at first it was... There's multiple EA studios that helped, but Motive was the final one that helped with the game, who eventually went on to make Battlefront 2's campaign. And constantly people being split between different studios having to work together. And you see there's a huge culture clash too, because in San Francisco, I mean, this is a huge part of it that I never considered, that San Francisco is so expensive to live in that all the staff... one person costs EA $16,000 a month just to...
Holy crap.
$16,000 a month to keep them there working on the game.
That kind of explains why the studio didn't have enough people, too, because it's so expensive to pay them all and for them to live there. And
exactly. Yeah, and then, because I wasn't aware of this, in cities like Vancouver and Montreal, a lot of studios in Canada all have like a tax break for game development. So to not only live in these portions of Canada's a country. Yes, sorry, I'm losing my mind. To live in like these cities like Montreal and Vancouver, it was significantly cheaper to be developing games there. So that's why the teams in Montreal and San Francisco couldn't get along in a lot of things because they wanted to do different things in Vancouver than they could do in San Francisco, and there was a constant clash between EA and Visceral and Motive, and it's just a nightmare from the beginning. And that's why people were constantly apparently just leaving Visceral like crazy.
Where in California is EA's headquarters?
It's Redwood Shores. That's where I went for the EA thing I did in August.
So you've been there to
yeah, I saw Visceral up at, it's like the top floor of EA, and I looked up there and I was like, they're making Star Wars.
I didn't know Visceral was actually in like the EA headquarters.
Yeah, it's there. And it's funny because it was a surprise to me because the first day I went, I was there for 2 days. And the first day I went into EA, like in their lobby, they have like all their like a couple consoles set up with games. And I was too afraid to go like deeper into the studio because I didn't want to like get in trouble for like going somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. But the second day I was a little ballsier. I'm like, I'm gonna walk over to the Starbucks down there and like the cafe and like look around. So I walk over to the Starbucks, I get my coffee, I'm like looking around, and it's a beautiful place. And I look up and I see at the top just like Visceral Games. I was like, dude, it's like,
little do you know, there's
I want to sneak up there. It's like hellfire and Visceral, and like everyone's like killing each other. I'm like, we're gonna see an amazing Star Wars game coming out of there. Months later, like 2 months later, they're gone. But it's hard. I mean, there's so much more to the story. I mean, as far as the game's concerned, it sounded so cool. I wish maybe one day we'll see something like it. I don't know. But as far as single player was concerned, it was very heist based, where it was. Just think like exactly like I said. Uncharted, exactly. Yeah. Like you take cover, you shoot, and there's set piece moments. Like they said, the ATSD chasing after them, and I loved the idea that it was like a mob film. They're like basically criminals coming together to do these heists. And the part where you go through Jabba's palace sounded really cool.
I kind of feel like this was like a Star Wars 1313 reboot. Almost, because I know they mentioned it in that article. At least Jason does. Mm-hmm. Like I think they thought that they were going to kind of.
Do you know what happened to that game?
Pick up the mantle of that.
They mentioned that briefly. If I remember correctly, 1313 after LucasArts was bought out by Disney or whatever.
Okay.
There was a studio that wanted EA or someone to buy the rights to 1313, and they're like, no, screw that. So they didn't buy it. Originally, Ragtag was going to be a game called Yuma, where it was essentially Assassin's Creed 4 in space, but it was Star Wars. Where you fly your Millennium Falcon ship around like it was your pirate ship, but you could also board enemy ships and take over and loot their ship and everything and land on different planets, which that was the original idea. And then it was canned to do Ragtag. And then EA was like, we need an additional mode because you can't just sell this as a single player game. Because you remember that their slogan is games as a service. So they were forced to include a second mode that was essentially Yuma, the open world version, but scaled down to be the second mode of Ragtag. And that was also causing all kinds of issues. And they eventually got to a point where they knew that would be impossible. So EA's like, screw it, just finish the single player, and still couldn't do that, which you got to hand it to them. I know people hate on EA, but EA gave them years of chances to pull this game off, and they just couldn't do it. And I mean, it seemed very genuine. I know Patrick Sutherland's like the face of EA, so he kind of has to say certain things, but he seemed very genuine as far as his statement to Kotaku concerning the whole thing. Like, he kept wanting it to succeed.
Jason Schreier, how do you say it? Schreier. He also made an excellent point when the story first broke that you can't just come out and say this stuff because your stockholders are going to get squirrely.
Right.
So it has his reasoning of like, oh, I think we're just going to transition. Not like, guys, it's fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not a good message to come forth and say, for those reasons.
That makes total sense. Yeah. So
I worry for Respawn. I hope that game's good. Yeah, I hope it comes out.
Quick side note on that Respawn thing. That video that was floating around that I think Irish Ninja shared on Discord of the scene from Rogue One where Darth Vader kills all the rebel soldiers, and it has EA's logo on Vader's face and like all the studios that EA's like canceled or whatever, and he's slaying all of them. I wish that the Death Star plans they're holding the entire time had Respawn's logo on it, because Respawn's like the only other EA studio, with the exception of EA Vancouver now, developing a Star Wars game.
I'm saying that's how you keep Respawn going. They do Titanfall, didn't sell that well. Give them a Star Wars game that's going to sell a crap ton of copies. And then with that revenue, maybe they could invest in making another Titanfall.
Right. And
then they go back to Star Wars next to make more money.
And Titanfall has an outstanding multiplayer, so I'm under the assumption that whatever they're developing at Respawn includes a multiplayer component that EA will be satisfied with.
I think it's going to be like a Jedi Outcast kind of thing.
I hope. I mean, obviously there's lightsabers based on that behind the scenes we saw.
Yeah.
But I would love an Outcast type game from Respawn with lightsabers. That'd be so cool.
Because it does have like that multiplayer side to it, but also, it's Jedis. And that's what I wanted as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. I mean, there's layers upon layers of that story from Jason Schreier, but I thought it was fascinating to get a look behind the curtain, because I mean, I've heard stories about game development and like not only great situations but terrible situations like this one where it just tanks like that. But another thing that I thought was so interesting, I mean, even though this sucks for the people that were involved, I thought this was fascinating when Ragtag had started development, and then EA comes in and says, well, we need half your team, literally half your team to develop DLC for Hardline. So they picked like half the team to go do that, and the other team got to continue Star Wars, and they said there was bad blood between the two teams that were split in half, because the ones that were sent to do Hardline thought, like, well, I guess that these people at Visceral, like the chosen ones getting to work on Star Wars, and we're stuck doing crappy DLC for Hardline that like probably no one cares about. So they said that caused a lot of issues internally too. And again, all the stuff he mentioned was so cool that because I'd heard about his book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, but I didn't think about picking it up until after I read this article. I'm like, I mean, Jason Schreier's like one of the biggest names in game journalism, and I've read a lot of his stuff, but this whole read, I was like, this is amazing that he collected all this information himself. I made sure he had a little help. I'm like, this is fascinating.
Apparently he interviewed like tons of, what's the word?
Developers,
developers, but
and even like Patrick Soderlund himself gave a statement too, which is cool. Yeah. But I ordered his book after I read this. I'm like, because his book is all about stories like this. I'm like, I want to hear more of stories like this. It's fascinating.
Yeah, apparently it talks about like some behind the scenes stories of Destiny, which I would like to hear about, but I'm not a big reader, so I'm probably not going to pick up his book.
I'll probably read it if I go on another trip, perhaps by the end of this year. Maybe I'll read it on a plane or something.
If you're not playing Mario.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be hard. Where was I going with that? I forgot. I totally forgot. What was it? Something about Visceral.
It would have been really cool.
Yeah, the game would have been great.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see something like it down the road. It'll be interesting to see what Vancouver does. I will say that I'm not at all opposed to an open world Star Wars game. I was just looking very much forward to Visceral's game. But
I'll be very interested to see what comes.
Yeah, same with me. Anything Star Wars, you have my attention for sure. Even this whole situation is kind of a bummer. After you read what happened, like, I get it. Like, it sucks, but I get it.
Yeah. I think people, you just need to wait for the full story to come out before.
Again, read that article if you haven't already, if you're even slightly interested, because it's fascinating. I will link it in the description below, so you don't have to go hunting for it.
That's nice of you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I will do that. Let's talk about Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Let's.
Coming to iOS and Android end of November, late November.
Unless you're in Australia.
Exactly. Yeah. It's only U.S. at late November, or is it U.S. and Europe?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember either. Anyway, in this version of Animal Crossing, obviously it's a mobile title, but you manage a camper van. Instead of a full town, you manage a little campsite. There's differences in comparison to a New Leaf and Animal Crossing on GameCube and stuff. You have friendship levels now, depending on how you interact with people. Wow. You can raise your friendship level with people.
Relationships.
Are there relationships? Yeah, I kind of grabbed like the first few. They're not?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was going to say.
I want to.
I grabbed just the first couple bullet points.
Make love to a hippo.
Yeah, my hippo friend in my little campsite, in my little tent.
Yeah.
Now, you can craft furniture through a blacksmith. So instead of just straight up purchasing furniture, you can craft it now. Which is interesting. You have apparently you level up stuff by crafting furniture and furnishing your little tent or camper van, whatever it is. That's interesting.
So it's a long-term camp.
Yeah, you can also trade items with people on your friends list. So let's say all of us are playing Pocket Camp. I can trade you.
Which we will.
Yeah.
We will.
I'm going to trade my armchair for Preston's cupboard at one point, probably. If it's a fair trade.
Okay.
He approves.
If it's a fair trade.
Yeah. So little things like that, but I'm going to, of course, there's microtransactions to speed up. It's a real day and night cycle like traditional Animal Crossing, where if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon where you're at, it'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the game. Tom Nook is back. He has a whole new mortgage for you to pay off, which is nice.
He will be taking your real money as well as...
He will. This time he's actually robbing you. Because everyone is forcing you to buy these microtransactions.
I know you can only buy Leaf tickets, which I don't know.
Right.
That you can buy bells with those Leaf tickets. I don't know.
Maybe Leaf tickets is the new currency. Are bells still around?
Yeah, I think bells are still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was listening to someone play this. I don't remember who it was. I guess it was like a demo version or something. But they said the Leaf tickets, like, you get a lot of them just playing the game, which is nice.
A lot of people are making Australia account and download it.
Oh yeah, it's out in Australia, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's it.
I'm excited to try it.
Oh yeah. My main problem with Animal Crossing, especially the last one I played was New Leaf, was you play for like 30 minutes a day and there's nothing else to do, which that type of gameplay is perfect for your phone. You just whip it out, do your crap in the day, and just wait for tomorrow.
It's kind of like how I played Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
I love that game when I played it.
Mm-hmm.
I spent so much money. I take back what I said, dude. I spent a lot of money on microtransactions in Fallout Shelter.
You're the problem.
I loved paying for that game. I had so many cool things. I had an amazing vault, dude. It was flawless. I had the perfect system. I won't go into detail to bore people to death.
Please don't.
I've done it before. But it was amazing. And this is a random fact that I read while researching this game. This blew my mind. Did you know that New Leaf on 3DS sold
an ass ton.
over 11 million copies? That is insane.
Bunch of losers.
One for a handheld game, but for Animal Crossing, that's incredible. And for comparison's sake, I think Battlefront 1, a Star Wars game, AAA developer, sold like 13 million copies. That sold only 2 million less on 3DS. It's fascinating to me.
Fascinating.
So I thought it was cool. Dude, games with gold for November have been revealed. I don't know why I bring up the footstool games every month, but it's just kind of tradition.
That Xbox One X is coming out soon, dude.
Someone else there cares about their furniture.
Or is it just developer people that got it?
No, people are getting it. Unleash the beast.
Yeah. The most powerful console ever made. Let's see what this monster can do. Ever since you built your crazy PC, it's like kind of funny about the One X. I recognize the One X is very powerful and it looks amazing.
I want a One X.
I'd love one.
It's just so dumb.
If someone gave me one, I would be excited about it.
I love opening new stuff.
Yeah, it does look very
I would
slick.
sell my Xbox One X and make more money. That's what
You're one of those guys. Huh?
I would replace.
I have no desire to have
my one in the living room with it.
I'm going to want an X before Halo 6 comes out. I've said that multiple times.
But if it's on PC, I'll just play it on PC.
I'm going to predict Halo 6 is coming holiday of 2019 or fall of 2019.
Okay.
We're going to see a very brief teaser trailer at E3 next year.
I think, yeah, that's probably correct. Yeah. I was going to say gameplay, but probably not.
I will no doubt have an X by then. Maybe there'll be even a newer Xbox by then. I don't know.
I'm interested to see Digital Foundry's stuff with the One X.
As am I. I love those videos.
Pretty disappointed to see Origins running on it in terms of the technicalities of it, how it's not even 4K. It's checkerboarded and it's still at 30 frames. Yeah. So, especially when all the hype was like 4K, 60 frames, no compromises, doing all of it. And then their first game they come out with, there are compromises. So,
great bourbon.
It still looks
no
fine.
apologies.
It does.
It still looks fine. It plays fine. It's like whatever. But I did think just their entire whole shtick was, man, we have so much power, we're not going to be able to compromise anything. And then it's like 30 frames, not real 4K. Sure.
Bummer, man.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Xbox and disappointing games,
put a disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm sure there will be some games like Forza, for instance, where it's true stuff like that. I just don't think in games like Assassin's Creed, like open world games, it's realistic to think that, it's going to be actual 4K running.
Needs more teraflops, man.
Let's see what this monster can do. On Xbox One, you're getting Trackmania Turbo. Never heard of it. Tales from the Borderlands. That was the Telltale game, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Some say the best Telltale game.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Even if you don't like Borderlands, apparently it's still very good.
Nice. I doubt I'll ever play it, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay.
Xbox 360's getting Nights into Dreams. Haven't heard of that one either.
Nights into Dreams.
That's coming to Xbox One and 360. Deadfall Adventure, same to Xbox One and 360. So I guess the diamond in the rough there is Tales from the Borderlands.
Mm-hmm. That was so exciting.
Wasn't that? This is my favorite portion of every episode. The Xbox games, man. Hashtag not fanboys. We have a couple release dates. Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming January 26th of 2018. I think that's a solid release date for that game.
It's a solid release date.
It's a really good time.
You guys gonna pick that up?
I'm going to pick that up as a DBZ fan. Not so much as a fighter fan, but it looks so awesome.
I want to play that story mode.
Yeah, it looks so awesome that I want to play it.
Yeah.
So Metal Gear Survive, which is probably my most anticipated game of 2018, is coming February 20th.
Excellent.
And the US and the 22nd.
I think it's going to sell so poorly,
in Europe.
I don't know.
I think
maybe. We'll see.
No,
It's gonna be.
Is this still a linear, not linear, but like open world, like zombie survival type game with Metal Gear? Is that what it is?
I think so.
I
know you build
more.
a fortress and stuff.
Is it like Fortnite?
It kind of sounds like Fortnite.
It's using the same assets as 5, right?
Let's recognize a few things here. Metal Gear Solid 5 looks and feels amazing to play. Now, add in zombies to that. That doesn't really do much for me. I mean, I do want to see more because I know the whole Konami thing with Kojima was just totally ridiculous. But that aside, just the game itself, I want to see more because I really enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 5. And if it's more of that with like a new vibe with the zombie thing, I'm open to seeing more of it. So it has my interest, but has my curiosity, but not my attention just yet.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't even really like not caught my attention, but it interests me because I don't know, zombie horde modes have never really been appealing to me. So, like Garrett said, I'm gonna obviously be looking for more for the game before I even come close to making a decision.
Did y'all see the pre-order bonuses?
I left those out because I just didn't care.
It's pretty funny.
What are they?
It's like, get the gold weapons pack and this outfit pack.
Man, that's so old. You got to do something new with pre-order bonuses. How about like a new Sparrow?
A new Sparrow?
Like I would have pre-ordered Destiny if I got a new Sparrow.
There was a European promotion for a new Sparrow.
Yeah, see, I was just joking.
It's like some European mobile company.
Yeah, I'd be cool if it was like, I'm trying to think of anything at all that would interest me as a pre-order bonus these days.
I don't like pre-order bonuses.
I think
pre-order the game for $5 and that's all you have to pay for the game.
See, like
that's
Destiny
the
2's pre-order bonus was an exotic. Are you kidding me? And you, if you don't pre-order, you can't get that gun until like December.
Crazy, man.
It's bullshit.
Incisive.
Yeah, and then it just happened to be like one of the best weapons in the raid. Like, come on.
I said incisive. I meant incentive.
Yeah.
Incentive.
It's still early.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Paris Games Week for a minute here.
Sure.
From Reese Puggett's Jew of nerdmuch.com. Says, over at PlayStation Blog, Sony has teased what they will be showcasing at Paris Games Week this upcoming Monday, October 30th at 8 a.m. Pacific Time. This event will be streamed to all of Sony's social media, including PlayStation Live, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is a quote from Sony here. The first hour of the event will feature 21 game updates and 7 all-new game announcements for PS4 and PSVR. The second hour will be filled with demos and gameplay previews for or of the announced games. And more to that was Sony said this is basically the second portion of E3 of 2017. They're continuing that narrative,
that excites
essentially.
Me.
So let's predict here. I know a lot of people have been predicting what they think we're going to see. Of course, we will see probably more of what we've already seen at E3.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see demos of those. Probably a new God of War demo, no doubt, because that's probably coming sooner than we expect. I mean, everyone's predicting like early, like Q1 or Q2 2018 right now, right? For God of
War? I'm thinking March.
Thinking March? Yeah, I would say March or April probably.
Mm-hmm. Haven't God of War games come out in March?
I'm not sure.
I heard that
I'm not sure about past God of War games. First, before we predict, what do you want to see more of what we've already seen? I'd like to see more of Days Gone, personally.
Yeah,
I've seen enough.
The last time I've seen enough to where I'm interested for sure. Mm-hmm. Like I'll definitely pick it up. But
I want to see something that really gets me excited for it.
Like really, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So far, I'm like, yeah, that looks fun, but I want to be like, you know,
hyped.
The last year or so, I've really just been wanting to know what the people that made Infamous, what they're
Sucker
doing.
Punch.
Yeah, Sucker Punch.
That I'm going to predict one of the new games they show will be a Sucker Punch game. Finally,
I hope so.
I think it will be.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I don't really hold Paris Games Week. Like,
see, neither do I. But it seems like Sony's making it that way this year. At least they're trying to hype people up. Maybe not enough people watch it either. Like we need to get more people watching. That's in. They don't really show that much.
I gotta use the bathroom.
I'm pretty sure. I know this is off topic, but I think
getting to me.
Oh, okay.
It gets to me too. I think next weekend is BlizzCon. I believe.
Is it?
Yeah. No, I'm not really expecting any new announcements, like in terms of a new game or something. But,
okay.
You know, I hope there's like some exciting Overwatch stuff. That was a brief side note.
Okay. I still need to pick up Overwatch on PC.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rushing, right?
No.
It'll always be there.
I have too many games to play.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Too much schoolwork to do. Too much work to do outside of school as well.
Sounds like you'll never get there.
I will eventually. You count on that, Jacob.
Okay.
We'll see. I want to see demos for Days Gone and God of War, of course. What else are we looking at there? We probably won't see more of Spider-Man.
Dude, I want to announce like a release date for the new Horizon.
Oh, the New Horizon, huh? Yeah. We're going to see probably gameplay from that DLC, I think.
You think so?
Yeah. Okay. They're gonna hold Horizon up there because Horizon's one of the best games to come out of Sony.
I'm really excited to play that DLC.
So
it's going to be so nice to go back.
Oh, yeah, I'm very excited. I think they will show a snippet of that DLC just to get people hyped for it. Like, oh, remember, Horizon's still around, so get ready for the DLC. I keep forgetting
that Zelda has DLC this year, too.
Mm-hmm.
Too much to play, man.
What are demos I'm forgetting, man? Days Gone, God of War. Maybe we'll see more of Spider-Man. I don't know. I'd love to see more of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it might be a PSX kind
Sucker
of thing.
Punch might be one of them. What is something else we saw this year that we've always seen at the past two Sony E3s?
Indies.
Oh, yeah, we'll see more indies. They said PSVR as well. I wouldn't be surprised if like 2 or 3 of these games are PSVR games.
Yeah,
nice Sony's like gung-ho on PSVR still, apparently. From what we read a couple
I'm still waiting
ago.
for that like VR game that really like catches my eye and like makes me want to get one, but it hasn't come yet.
Man, I mean, I'm sure they'll continue to improve, but my purchase is totally justified with Resident Evil and even Superhot. I know Superhot's been around the block with every VR headset, but PSVR specifically, I've loved my time with Resident Evil and Superhot. I mean, even Farpoint was great with the PSVR aim controller. I know that isn't my favorite VR experience, but I love the addition of that controller, and I can't wait to see it used additionally.
Yeah.
Whether it be in I think it's called Delta Squad. I always want to call it Delta Force. I think it's called Delta Squad or something.
Isn't Delta Force a movie?
Delta Farce is a movie with Larry the Cable Guy. One of the few movies in my life I've fallen asleep watching.
I can imagine.
It was awful.
Is Preston releasing his, cleaning his bowels?
Yes. He's currently releasing his bowels. So I could probably do the same right now.
I could too.
Did you just soil yourself?
I farted, yeah.
That's all right, man.
I had to.
It's just you and me here enjoying each other's company, so. Yeah.
So how many more topic or stories do we have?
Community questions next.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. That's exciting.
I'm going to have to wait for Preston to give me a refresher on Sony stuff because I'm blanking. I'm so tired. Maybe we'll see more of that Dreams game. I think that's a Media Molecules game.
That's right. I always forget about that game.
I won't be surprised if that's canceled. I haven't heard anything in so long.
They've been working for a while.
Ever since this Star Wars thing, I'm like suspicious of games I haven't heard from in a long time.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun to play in VR. I still know exactly what it is. I still don't know exactly what it is. But I'm interested for sure. I know VR's kind of been the rumor surrounding it for a while. That they kind of went back to the drawing board to develop it for VR. Probably both on a TV and VR, but I tried in VR.
So, Rockstar, when did they say that Red Dead's coming out? Like, was it just 2018, or did they give like a window?
I thought it was fall of 2018 or something.
You think fall?
I thought that's what it was originally. Maybe they changed. Don't we have an exact date now, or am I just crazy?
I don't think so.
I'm so tired, Jacob.
I'm pretty sure it's just a year.
Dude, by the time I get to school for my review thing, I'm going to be dead.
I bet.
It's from like, I have to be at work at 2, so I get the review thing from 12 to like 1:30.
It was such a packed day.
And I have to go to work until probably close to midnight. And then I got to go to school in the morning.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sucks. At least everything I'm doing, I enjoy doing. I mean, I don't like being in school, but at least what I'm doing in school, I like to do.
It's still like being that busy kind of takes the fun out of some things.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when you're just exhausted all the time, just running around.
Yep, it is a nonstop list of objectives to complete today.
Oh, you said you got two more weeks of this quarter?
I have 3, I think. 3 or 4.
Yeah. That's going to make things even more stressful, I bet, because of like a test and whatnot.
Yeah, I think my last day of this quarter is the 17th or something of November.
Right before the Thanksgiving break.
Correct. So I'm getting there. But I'm going to dump my pants ever since Preston said he had to go.
I just have to go piss really bad. I don't have to.
Okay, well, let's just move on to community questions while we wait on Preston. He can talk about Sony later if he wants.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where we answer your questions sent to us through multiple outlets. So tired. Your community questions. Thank you so much to all of you who send us questions each and every week. All of them are always wonderful, and we get so excited to answer them week in and week out, whether it be for this show or our additional show, Ask IOG, which is the show fueled exclusively by community questions, typically centered around more random questions that are aside from video games. But Ask IOG is not only available on YouTube in its own playlist on our channel, but on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and additional services around the interwebs. And that is, again, ASK capital IOG.
It's also awesomely It's also
we're crashing and burning here.
Never mind. I don't remember what I was trying to say.
So bad, dude. It's also what?
I don't know. It's also most commonly. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Referred to as Ask Eog.
Ask Eog, yes. It's also a must need.
What the cool kids call it.
It's a must need, as you would say, in your life.
Yeah.
But again, if you'd like to reach us to submit your questions for one of the two shows, you can reach us in one of three places. You can email us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at obvious_gaming, or you can submit your question in the Ask IOG section. Of our Discord channel. So please do so. We love hearing from you guys, and thank you so much for all of you who continue to supply us with amazing questions week in and week out. But the first one comes from Dota Moda. He says, "Hey guys, what's up? So my question is, what's a video game character, hero, or villain that resembles each one of you physically and personality-wise?" I think it's impossible to do both of those together, but I think we can do them separately, personality or physically.
Okay.
For most of us, like Preston physically kind of looks like Hitman or Agent 20, whatever he is, whatever agent number he is.
It's a good one.
So,
and you most resemble Garrett from Thief, I believe.
Correct. I mean, the game's based off of me.
Yes, and not just because of the name.
Right.
You guys do kind of have the same body type, I guess.
Kind of slender build.
Yeah. I can't really think of anyone for me. I know there's guys that are built in games, but
yeah, I can't think of anyone who looks like you either. I didn't really have time
to think about this.
I don't know, man.
The reason I picked Clark Kent for my Halloween costume is because I kind of resemble Superman. I mean, of course, I'm not like huge like Superman is, but I think
you're pretty. I think you're beefier than. No, I say beefier, more muscular than Superman. I mean, Superman's
not beefier than Superman. Are you kidding me?
Superman's ripped, but
he's huge.
You're like buff, and Superman's more ripped.
No, he's buff. Superman's buff.
I'd have to see him shirtless
buff and
again.
ripped.
I haven't seen him shirtless in a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Superman. Henry Cavill looks amazing.
Yeah.
But
he's more ripped than buff, I would say.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of anything for you right now, Jacob. We've answered for Preston.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think, Jacob, whether personality and or physically, what character he resembles in video games.
Be as creative as you want to be. I will not get offended if you say I'm something that I don't agree with.
Or even like Yoshi, for example. You kind of resemble Yoshi.
Yeah, I think
and correct right. Preston and I if we don't resemble Garrett from Thief or Hitman himself.
I feel like we could come up with a better one for you, but it might
probably.
Take some time.
I'm too tired right now. Lyric says, "What is a game that flopped that you?" Do you ever put your phone on silent, just out of curiosity?
Well, even if it's on vibrate, it's going to be rumbling in my chair.
Yeah, but I've always wondered that because I never heard your phone on silent before.
We mean like vibrate? I never put my phone on silent.
That's what I mean, like vibrate.
Yeah. When I'm like at work or something.
Yeah, but not on the podcast, of course.
Is it that distracting?
It's not distracting. I just think it's funny.
Okay. I'll start vibrating.
No, I mean, you don't have to.
My dick.
Next question. Lyric says, "What is a game that flopped that you wished would have been successful? What was the game? What did you enjoy about it? Why did it fail? I'd go with Hellgate London. It had a great concept, interesting world, and interesting classes. It failed because it got pushed out too early before it was complete, and it had a lot of broken mechanics, and the story wasn't complete. Can't wait to hear yours."
I don't know if this is a great example because it didn't really flop in terms of sales, but impressions it did. No Man's Sky, for me, was just so disappointing, as everyone knows. Like, just the promise of, doing anything you wanted in that universe was so compelling to not just me, but everyone that played the game.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was just disappointed, obviously, in that dream that wasn't really, it didn't come to be how everyone thought it would.
Right.
But the game sold really well because everyone was super hyped for it. And I think the game's doing pretty well now. They've made some pretty significant changes, and it's really working out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if people are, willing to come back at this point.
Yeah, there will undoubtedly be developers that improve upon what Hello Games did with No Man's Sky as far as traversing an expansive universe. I think Dual Universe is an indie game that's similar to No Man's Sky that's already expanded upon No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm.
that's entirely built off of player creation. Like the entire in-game economy is managed by players themselves and everything. It's fascinating.
That's cool.
I mean, that's the very on-the-nose description of the game, but a colleague of mine at PAX got to go hands-on with it and was describing it to me, and it sounded fascinating. It sounded like what No Man's Sky wanted to be, but this game is No Man's Sky times 10. That's what it sounds like.
And what's this game called?
Dual Universe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I might check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in early access or when it's going to be available, but I know it's on PC. So I guess we'll find out. You can find out. Yeah, you can look it up. It's out there.
I might look it up.
Games that flopped. I kind of wish The Order was more successful. I mean, granted, it could have been better than it was, but I really enjoyed the idea of The Order and a lot of what The Order had to offer. I mean, again, it could have been better in many ways.
Yeah,
but
I absolutely love like that universe and how how the game looked. Just like if the game was just a little longer, it would have been a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I even enjoyed how it was kind of played as a movie.
Right?
It's like the black bars on the top and bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I like that cinematic look. I didn't mind it in The Order, but in Evil Within, it bothered me for some reason. I don't know why that is. Maybe the camera was pulled out farther in The Order and you could see a little better. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think of games that flopped, dude, that I wanted to be successful. I'm terrible at answering questions like this. I never know what to say.
It's much easier when we have time. Like when we do Ask IOG or Ask EOG, excuse me.
But even if I researched it, like the games that I would know that I wanted to succeed, I feel like I could just pull right off the top of my head.
No, I typically don't even pay attention or buy into like games that don't do very well. Like I'm typically a guy that looks at reviews now, so before I make a purchase, unless it's something like Mario, which I know is going to be a knockout of the park.
Mm-hmm. Some games I still, despite reviews, will give it a try for myself because I need to know for myself. Like Skyrim VR.
More times than not, it's pretty safe just to pre-order something and get it.
Yeah, like I've mentioned, Skyrim VR, I don't think anyone's given really positive impressions of that game, but I still want to try it for myself.
Yeah.
So I need to know for myself, Jacob.
Mm-hmm. What about Doom? You getting Doom?
In VR? Oh, definitely. I've heard Doom's fantastic in VR. Yeah, that's one of the ones coming to PSVR, obviously, in the near future. So, excited for that.
That'd be a cool experience. It's not the full game, right? It's like...
I think it's something separate. Yeah. I haven't really researched it much. I've just heard that it's really good. Surprisingly good for VR.
I was going to say, if I haven't played Doom yet, obviously still...
Dude, they better take advantage of the aim controller in PSVR. They'd be crazy not to.
I doubt they will.
They'd be crazy not to.
I don't think anything that's not a Sony game is going to take advantage.
Man, how good it would feel, because Farpoint in and of itself felt amazing, but imagine playing Doom in VR with that gun.
Farpoint without that gun would have been so mediocre.
Great. Preston, welcome back.
You seem much more cheerful now.
How'd it go in there?
Hey, went fine.
Hey, do you mind telling us real quick before we move on, what's a game that flopped that you wish was successful?
Oh, God.
I know. It's hard to answer. I said The Order. I don't know if it totally flopped, but it could have done better, probably.
That's a good example.
Yeah, both of our examples never really flopped. Well, The Order did more so than mine. I said No Man's Sky.
There's a game that sucked that I wish was good.
Technomancer?
No.
No.
That game needed to be what it was.
I think it was whatever. I enjoyed it for the most part.
Oh!
No, my answer is not even the question. I'll say The Order too. I think that's a decent example.
I'm changing my answer. I think 1-2 Switch is my biggest flop.
Now, a game with the best idea that I wish was actually good is Darkest of Days.
Great idea.
Coolest idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just executed the worst way you could ever do it.
Mm-hmm. Just for people that are unaware, what was that game?
Darkest of Days is a game where you go back into the past with future weaponry and you participate in like iconic battles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like at the Civil War, but with a automatic rifle.
Yeah. It's rad.
It's a cool idea, but just
terrible game.
Awful.
The next one comes from Gimme Lucky. He says, Hey, dude, so quick question. My girlfriend calls the PS4 controller a remote and the TV remote a controller. Am I the only one who thinks she's crazy?
No, I also think she's insane.
Yeah. You should dump her.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. I've never called anything a remote. This is going to be weird. You guys,
I always
you guys
call
won't
the TV
like.
remote a remote.
You guys aren't going to like this. I know you won't
I
like this.
combine both.
Guess what my family's always called the TV remote?
Like a clicker.
They call it the clip.
The clip.
The clip.
That's dumb.
What?
Isn't that weird? Dude? Even I will admit that's weird. My parents have been like, "Where's the clip at?"
My
What
grandparents
does that even mean?
refer to it as a clicker.
I've heard clicker before.
I don't know. I don't
Clicker's like from
either.
The Last of Us.
No, you're right.
Oh yeah.
You know what
I
probably
call it a
happened
remote.
when they named the clickers in The Last of Us. They're probably thinking like, "Man, what should we call these enemies in The Last of Us?" And someone was like, "Has anyone seen the clicker for this monitor over here?" And they're like, "That's a fucked up name for something. Let's call them clickers." That's probably how it happened.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with them clicking.
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
No. Mm.
No. I call my TV remote a remote, and then my controller a controller.
Yeah. See.
No.
I mean, I've been drawn into the clip things. That's been embedded in my brain, but I recognize it's weird.
You need to end that now.
Yeah. You
I think
do
I
not
think
pass that down.
I think when I mentally think about it, I'm like, "Where's the remote?"
Mm-hmm.
you don't want your.
Especially when people are around.
If you have children, you don't
When I'm
want
in
them to be
public, I call it
scarred.
the remote. What do you call a shopping cart? You call it a buggy?
Damn
No.
Southerners.
I call it a buggy.
A buggy?
It's
I mean,
it's a shopping cart.
I'm sure I've used that term before.
I mean, I'll again, the older I've gotten, I'll call things by what they should probably be referred to as. Like, I'll call it a shopping cart, but growing up, I heard buggy a lot.
Just
Yeah,
the word
yeah.
buggy.
I've
That's
heard
the
buggy.
dumbest word.
Buggy?
Yeah. It's like what you call it. It's like a cute name for a bug. It's like, hey, you little buggy. Like, come on, it's not a cart.
Grab the buggy and pick up the turkey for Thanksgiving.
I'm excited for Thanksgiving. I love food so much.
My parents will be out of town. I'll be here by myself for Thanksgiving.
Loser.
I'm working.
On Thanksgiving?
That's sad.
Thanksgiving weekend, yeah, I'll be at the Crimson Moon. I might just call in and be like, "No thanks," because it is like the cheapest gig
No
on
thanks.
planet Earth at
Yeah,
Crimson
dude.
Moon.
F that place.
Yeah.
You need to have a...
It's also the
dinner.
easiest gig on planet Earth, and I like some good old bluegrass every now and then.
Nobody's going to be there on Thanksgiving. Be
Absolutely
honest.
not.
Yeah.
They will not.
Do you have nobody to go to?
And that's
on
the kind of
Thanksgiving?
venue which I don't agree with this at all. That's the which I, in a lot of ways, I understand, but as a sound person, I don't agree with. They pay based on how many people show up for the show. Like, it's not my fault 3 people showed up.
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
band.
No, dude.
Because the sound man, no matter who's playing, I mean, sometimes it's easier than other times, but as a sound guy, you're always doing the same job every single time, so it should be a fixed rate, which is, this band only brought in 3 people, so F the sound guy. Like, that's ridiculous.
That is dumb. So if you don't work, you will just accompany your family.
Correct.
Okay.
Which probably
You
makes more
definitely
sense
need to
anyway.
do that. Yeah, for sure. I was supposed to work at Taco Bell on Christmas Eve.
And you just were like, F you. And you're like, I quit or something, right?
They called me. I forgot to call in.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, where are you? I was like, my stomach hurts. And they were like,
if you don't get in here, you're fired.
And I was just like, I quit. And I hung up. So I'm not going to work at Taco Bell Christmas Eve night. Are you kidding me?
It's a great way to quit.
So dumb.
That's awesome.
Hey, but Taco Bell on a Christmas Eve night's pretty good.
I'm sure it is, but I didn't want to be the person working there.
I don't blame you.
Oh.
Heavens,
Yeah,
no.
remote and controller.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of strange.
That is strange.
Where's the PS4 remote? Sam Harris says, "Hey, you chumps, what is your favorite controller of all time? I personally love the PS4 DualShock, GameCube, yes, the GameCube controller, and most recently, the Super Nintendo controller."
I think of all time, I'd have to say the 360 controller.
I'm right there with you.
Agreed.
I'm
All right.
going to be honest. Super Nintendo's controller is nostalgic for me, but I don't like that
I
controller.
don't know if you guys knew this, but
I think the original NES controller is awful. I hate it.
Yeah, it's
I
terrible.
understand.
Any controller that's like a piece of like thin plastic that you hold like a sandwich, that's not doing it for me at all.
I like the Pro controller.
Pro controller is
controller's
excellent.
Phenomenal.
It's very
I
good.
don't know if you guys knew this, but with the 360 controller, there's a new scuff it's made. It looks and feels like the 360 controller, but it's a PS4 controller or an Xbox One controller.
You
I
and
can
your
get behind
scuff
that.
stuff.
It's really cool.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I can get behind you, too.
Whoa.
He got behind me the other night in my girlfriend's bed.
Wow.
And she was nowhere to be found.
I was telling Casey, I was like, Casey, you can sleep on the couch tonight. I think I'll share this bed with Jacob instead.
Nice.
Priya came and woke me up right as I was trying to go to sleep. She was like all over me.
Yeah, I heard you being like,
It's like,
I heard you like
The dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a sweet, sweet animal. She loves to cuddle.
Yeah, she's awesome.
That's one of the few dogs in my life where I can literally spoon that animal and she lets me. Like my arms are completely wrapped around her.
Can I tell you a really quick story about my animals?
Yeah,
sure.
My animals love them to death. Zelda and Riley, the two snuggliest dogs ever. They've had upset tummies this week.
You came home to the diarrhea situation, right?
Yeah, but I came home. Zelda, there's poo everywhere on the walls.
Oh, God.
She's bathed herself in it.
They both have this bug?
Awful. I don't know what it is. I think we had a fairly stressful week the other week, and I think it just made them have to poop everywhere. So, anyways, I come home, poop everywhere. I was ready to dive into some Evil Within 2, and I have to carry. I didn't want to pick her up, so I'm like, "You need to go outside." As she's walking, just leaving pooey paw prints, on the floor as she walks outside. She gets outside,
like a huge mess.
I hose her down enough to where I pick her up, take her inside, bathe her, and then I just have to mop the entire floor and just pick up this soup by hand and like dump it into a bag.
I don't remember. Is your whole house
soup?
Is it hardwood?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You save that for later in a porridge, man.
Yeah, it was soup. So I put it in a bag. I'm like gagging thinking about it. I can smell it as I'm talking.
Did she get on the furniture?
No, on the walls though. So I took a magic, Mr. Clean magic eraser to the wall.
Did it work?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That magic eraser, dude. It's some wizardry. It is magic.
I clean my car sometimes. It's really effective.
It's especially like scuffs on walls and stuff, dude. Works amazing.
Nice.
So, anyways, I'm using that to clean and I mop up everything, and it takes me a good like hour and a half to 2 hours to get everything on lockdown. Whatever. Go to bed, wake up, go to work, come home, same thing. Poo everywhere.
God.
My God. Lizzie's at least home this time, so she helps me. I don't have to do it all by myself. So we bathe her again, and she knows that she can't help it. She's apologetic towards us, and it's fine. It's whatever. So come home the next day, nothing. Thank God. The next day, which was Thursday, I believe, I come home. I have to use the bathroom very bad. I run into my bathroom, shut the door, get situated. And as I'm on my cellular device, I smell something horrendous. And I'm thinking like,
that can't be me.
I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
This can't be me. This is awful. I look down. Right in between my feet is a rug, like a rug in our bathroom. And it's like folded over. And I lift up the vault, and there is a massive puddle of just chili just sitting there.
Yeah.
Just the smell just erupts as I lift the rug.
Throw up everywhere.
And I have to use the bathroom so bad. So
is this your only bathroom?
No, we have two.
Okay.
So I like run out of this bathroom, and I go to my other bathroom, and I hear Lizzie come home. And I didn't say anything. And I'm silent, just waiting. And then I just hear her go, "Oh my God!"
I had no idea.
Just for Riley.
Sorry, babe. It was me this time.
Yeah, he went in the bathroom. At least he went to the bathroom and just died in there. Just died. And I think he was so ashamed that he covered it with the rug.
That's amazing.
Like he knows. Oh, he is smart, dude. And he was ashamed, dude. I should have known when I came in. He was like laying in a corner, but he was mortified. He was so sad that he did that. So we just started loading them up with Imodium before we go to bed, and fed them like a mixture of rice and dog food for their upset stomachs. But yeah, I came home to poo everywhere 3 days out of the 5 in my work week last week. So
speaking of dogs peeing and pooping, Casey's dog gets so excited every time I come over that she just pees instantly. I can't stop her. I try to like very calmly come in, and she just pees everywhere.
Anytime I get anywhere near her, tail just starts wagging, and she gets super excited.
She's a wonderful.
So I can only
animal.
imagine with how you are with animals, how excited she gets.
I like whenever I see Evan's dog, I scream. Like, I literally scream because me and his dog just like howl together because we're so excited.
Oh, I do the
each
same
other.
thing with Sophia.
Yeah, so I tried doing that with Priya, and she just like peed everywhere. So that's the last time I can do that.
Dude, Stanley is over a year old, and he still pees when I walk in the door.
He's only a year?
Yeah.
Oh, Stanley. I thought you were talking about Riley.
Oh, no. Riley's like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Controllers. I also like the GameCube controller.
Wow, what a...
And the DualShock 4 I love, but everything before that I did not like for PlayStation. I mean, I didn't hate it, but the DualShock 4 is such an improvement over 3.
It's by far the best Sony controller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Zero Shadow Fox says, are either of you guys coming down for PS4?
Yeah, either of you guys.
Yeah. Not Jacob.
Just the two of us.
Yeah. I think we briefly talked about that for about 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're going to this year. It's November, isn't it?
December. I think so.
Okay. Because I'm not opposed to doing that because splitting cost to stay somewhere is not that bad. The only thing you'd have to pay for is a round trip to and from. I think it's in, where's it take? Is it California somewhere or is it somewhere else?
I think it's in Anaheim.
Is that where it is? I can't remember.
I know that's where BlizzCon is. Okay. That sounds right.
Because I think that'd be fun to go do that.
It is December 9th.
Okay.
Saturday.
It's just a day?
It's 2 days.
Okay.
It's a weekend.
It's like Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. How much is it? Do you see prices? Okay. I might look into it just out of curiosity because I don't think it's impossible. No. But that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
We'll see. Fender Fuzz says, Fender Fuzz 23 to be exact. I'm playing The Witcher 3 right now, and I am loving it. My question is, do you usually bribe, mind influence, or threaten during dialogue? Since I don't want to waste coin and never have a high enough Axie level, I find myself threatening everyone to complete quests and basically slaughtering everyone in my path. I was curious whether you guys played The Witcher differently and saw any benefits in doing so. Preston, I'm going to defer this question to you because you've played it significantly more than Jacob and I.
I typically upgraded my Axie and just kind of mind controlled them.
I feel like that's the funnest way. But it's also fun sometimes to kill
and that sometimes leads to fights. If there are other people around.
Or it just doesn't work if your skill's not high enough to do.
So that's typically what I would do.
Nice. I typically slaughtered people too.
Yeah. I never really threatened that much unless they deserved it.
I don't know. Typically, unless someone like had a bad attitude towards me, I would be nice and I would go through that extra step to keep them happy. That's typically how I act in an RPG.
Me too. It's funny how bad I feel for being a douchebag in an RPG.
Yeah, and it's like you could argue like this is the place to be, bad because you can't do
play that role if you dare.
Yeah, I play the role of I did this, you need to pay me. I did my job.
I do that definitely. Yeah. Whenever I would do a Witcher contract or something, no one would weasel their way out of a Witcher contract ever. I would decapitate them if they tried.
Whoa, even a child?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Children gave you a couple Witcher contracts in that game, didn't they?
I remember.
I know you helped a child at one point.
This is Joshua or whatever his name is, the little elf kid.
I don't know.
The godchild. Yeah. His name
gives you a contract.
Joshua.
I thought it was.
His name like Michael or something?
Yeah.
Nikolai Fogg.
Something generic.
Something generic? I don't remember. Nikolai Fogg says, I played Nier Automata when it came out, and I thought it was okay. For some reason, I tried... I'm not done yet. Okay. For some reason, I tried to play the game a second time about a month ago, and I think the game is now amazing. Have you tried giving a game a second chance, and did it change your original opinion of the game?
Absolutely.
You did just recently with
Divinity.
Divinity, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That was a complete 180 with Divinity.
I don't think that's happened with me before.
The original Darksiders. I did not like the original Darksiders at all. And I rented it from Blockbuster. Stop looking. I rented it from Blockbuster and was not digging it at all, but I decided to give it one more chance since I had already rented it, and I ended up really, really liking that game.
Excellent. I don't think... maybe that's happened for me. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'll do this one. When I first played Call of Duty 4's Modern Warfare's multiplayer... I didn't really realize what it was because I only played a few matches. It was like, oh, it's just Call of Duty, whatever. I think I traded the game in because I'd already beaten the campaign. And you're like, dude, the multiplayer is amazing. And I went back and got into it. And of course, I've been playing Call of Duty multiplayer ever since, every year. So that would be one of them for me.
I think that, oh God, I was about to say it. Please don't forget. Jacob, what about you?
I got nothing.
I have one.
Okay.
I
have to leave in 13 minutes.
Okay.
Yikes.
Okay, continue. Sorry. I can't remember what it is.
That's it.
Dang it.
That was episode 125.
Oh, wow. That was episode 125. Thanks for joining us,
That was
guys.
a great discourse, guys.
That was great.
I enjoyed it.
It was good.
I enjoy the games we're playing as well. I cannot wait to play more Mario.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. I want to get into Wolfenstein. Just want to dive in.
As do I.
I hope everybody else is having a great month of video games because it is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, let us know down below what you're playing and how you plan to deal with the just massive amount of games that are coming out. And we have lots of good discussions about things like that on our Discord channel. Be sure to check that out, and be sure to just check the description down below for links to all our social media pages and pretty much every which and way you can contact us. And if you're listening to us anywhere but YouTube, please subscribe to us at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. There's a wealth of content there, and we would love to have you.
Also, speaking of YouTube, we are still on track to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We should hit around 1,800 in November. We're still on track to reach that point. But if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere else, and if you've yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, even if you never want to watch our other videos or comment on them or anything, if you're willing to come over and subscribe just for the sake of our growth and appearing more to others on YouTube, we'd love if you came and just subscribe to the channel. It'd help us out a ton. It'd be awesome.
I remember that game. I think Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, New Vegas.
Even though I didn't think it was bad at all when I first played it, I gained a larger amount of respect for it playing it recently.
Yes. I mentioned an episode or two ago, I don't think you were here for this one, that I have a newfound respect for light guys at shows. The Devil Wears Prada light guy.
I was here?
Astounding.
I think I was here.
Absolutely astounding.
Yeah.
He was an artist.
Oh, no, I wasn't there because that was the week after. Yeah.
I mean, that man was
a good
truly, he was working just as hard as the band was on stage doing those lights, dude. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
So that's one for me. It's not a video game, but
okay.
I have a different opinion on it now.
Nice. Well, guys, I think that'll do it.
That will.
All right. We'll see you all next week.
Goodbye.
See you.